Welcome everybody to the Sideline Speaks. Brittany Jones, Kevin Walker, and Jason Collins. Brittany will be here. She was here a minute ago. She's having some internet difficulties. She's trying to get rebooted.
There she
So
is.
Britt will be back in just a minute. But as you guys can see, we got a special guest tonight. So Sap, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, let the people know where they can find you, and then we'll get this show on the road.
All right, man. I appreciate you guys having me on, man. It's a pleasure. Yeah, my name is Sap, man. I'm from the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. As people know, I'm the host and the man behind the mic of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. You can find me on YouTube at Simply Ball Dropping Podcast, Instagram, Simply Ball Dropping Podcast, and my Facebook page, Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. And also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at SBDKSAP at Twitter X. So, like I said, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm ready to go.
All right. Appreciate you having us. Appreciate you being on.
Man. It's going to be a fun show. There's Britt. She's back.
Right before we start the show, guys, my internet completely shuts down. I get a text from that service, let's be real, Xfinity, saying, "Oh, we lost connection." Really?
Wow.
At this particular time? But I'm back. It's okay. Jay, thank you for starting the show off. I appreciate it. KSAP, again, thank you for being here and introducing yourself. Jay, I don't know because I missed the whole introduction, so I don't know if you let our audience know that they are able to comment live, access a question live right here on the air. We'll do our best to answer or respond to their comment or question right here, right now on the show. But you guys ready to talk some sports?
Let's do it.
Let's get into it.
Crazy technical difficulties, but things happen. All right, guys. I want to do something a little different today because I want to talk about what current Texans, he actually just re-upped with the Texans, tight end Dalton Schultz stated about the Cowboys. He basically called them a zoo. So I actually want you guys to hear the interview. Okay, hear the interview, and then it's going to be a little lengthy. And then I have one from Michael Irvin as well. And then I just want to talk about how this impacts the team. All right.
All
right. So let's get into it now. I'm going to play it right now for you guys. Here it comes.
National TV every single week. Practice facility is filled with people paying for tickets for practice. Like it's a whole different world, allegedly. Yep. Have you enjoyed? Obviously, you enjoyed your time in Dallas. I'm not going to say that, but when you get to Houston, is it vastly different than your time in Dallas? Whenever you're talking about all the off the field, is it? Is that real?
That was one of the first things that kind of stuck out to me. Is like, it feels like much more. I don't want to say college because it's not, but like the focus is just football. You know what I mean? And going back and like telling some people like how kind of being around the Cowboys like practice facility and game day, describing some of the interactions and stuff that you see on a day-to-day basis, like surprised a lot of people. They're like, holy crap, like that actually happens like at a practice facility. And like, it's just, you think it's normal, and then you come to a place like this.
Like what? You don't have to out anything, but like, what are you?
No, dude, it's just like there's people literally going on tours while you're listening in the weight room, and they've got like a one-way mirror for people to like look at. Like it's a zoo, dude. Like, there's people tapping on the glass, like trying to get people's attention as they're doing, power cleans or whatnot, and it's different. And I mean, that's the brand that they've built. That's what Jerry Jones likes. That's the way that they run things, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just you don't realize like how many eyeballs and how much that can maybe distract from stuff just in the locker room, being in the facility, until you go somewhere else and you're like, holy crap, like, dude, there's none of that. Like, this is also a really well run organization in Houston. And I think that was one of the things that kind of scared me about like leaving Dallas the most, is like I wasn't sure what another organization would kind of feel like. And dude, I got here and it was like, this place is a well-oiled machine. Like it's, coaching staff, the coaching changes. I can't speak to the previous stuff, but like the strength staff is phenomenal. The training staff is.
All right. So I just want to get your thoughts. Actually, before I even bring in our second video, I just want to get your thoughts on what Dalton Schultz stated because a lot of people were going crazy. More specifically, probably Cowboys fans. Let's be real, but a lot of people were going crazy. Do you think this is a big deal? You know what, KSAP, I'm gonna start with you. You're our guest. I'm gonna start with you.
Man, to me personally, it's no big deal. I mean, Dalton Schultz ain't say nothing wrong. Dalton Schultz has said things that Cowboy fans already know. Like they stated, you know, the Cowboys are supposed to be America's team. I don't know where they get that from, but at the same time, he said nothing wrong. And the reason why I said he said nothing wrong, because I've seen it firsthand. They have the practice facility right down the street from where I stay. So if you go to the practice facility and they're practicing, they're giving tours all day long. It's the interaction between the people. Anything that's surrounding Jerry Jones is going to be a media spectacle. And that's the problem I have with the Cowboys. It's Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones will not let his people run the organization the way it's supposed to be ran. Jerry Jones is in the way. Now, when I say that, exactly, he's all about the money. So if it's anything about the money, he's going to do it. And that goes to the stadium in Arlington, the $1 billion playpen. Now, when you're out there at the game or anything like that, and if, you know, there's tourist attractions, they're giving tours all day long. So it's almost like Dalton Schultz didn't say nothing wrong. It's no big deal to me, because Cowboy fans already know what it is with the Cowboys. When you got anything associated with Jerry Jones, it's about the money. And Jerry Jones is going to go get that money. He's not going to stop that money flow coming in because of the fact that you don't want nobody touring this $1 million practice facility that you built in Frisco at the Star. So when you're out there practicing, you're giving tours all day long. Even with the stadium, you're giving tours every day of the week. So it's going to be interaction. So like I said, me personally, it's no big deal. Dalton Schultz did not say nothing wrong. So we just need to keep it moving.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, KSAP. I don't think he said anything wrong. I know a lot of people got in his feelings because he's no longer with the team. That's what it is. He's just no longer with the team. He's representing a different part of Texas. And it's a little rivalry over there, I guess, between Houston and Dallas, who runs Texas. But he's just telling his truth. He's telling his truth. You know, he's saying that there's so much other things that it seems is kind of, I'm not going to say a disturbance or a disruption to the team, or I'm sorry, distraction, but it's present, right? It's present, and they're made aware of what's going on, as opposed to him being currently in Houston and it's all about football. Everything's about football. The full focus is on football. But K-Walk, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with Kay for sure, and I kind of disagree as well, because of the fact of the matter is, when you're football, when you're talking about NFL players, it's a fraternity, and you keep everything, and you try to keep everything in house as much as you possibly can. I know Dalton Schultz is no longer with the Cowboys, but at the same time, you want to protect the shield, as they call it. You want to protect, you know what goes on, in the locker rooms, things that happen, on the back end of it, especially, you want to protect it from, guys like us, because we need that stuff to talk about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you hear that stuff and you go to a different organization, and by the way, this is a small little tidbit here, a small little shout out to Dalton Schultz, because I think he was referring to D'Amico Ryans. This is a different kind of program, different kind of organization. Where did he come from? San Francisco. Just saying. I just wanted to throw that in there. but nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with it personally, to be honest with you, because when you bounce from when you go from one team to another, you're always compared. You're always going to be, and I don't care who you are, you're always going to be asked, what's the difference between this organization and this organization, things of that nature. What did you like about this organization? What do you dislike, and so forth and so on. So with that being said, yeah, I don't have a problem with it, but I do have a problem with it if I'm able to do that, if I'm able to tote the fence, if you will, to tote the line, if you will. I know you can't, but I'm on that fence. Can I be on the fence? Can I be on the fence here, okay? But I get it, but at the same time, I don't get it. But I guess when you leave that organization, and you have to compare apples to oranges. A lot of people say, yeah, it's still fruit, but one way or the other. I get why, because I know he was posed that question. You know, what's the difference between being here and being there? Everyone gets that once once they're traded or once they sign with another team. So to answer the question, I guess if I'm going to have to one side of the fence, I'm going to say I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem.
Jay, now you're somewhat, as you say, of a Dallas fan, I guess. Sometimes, actually, not in over 30 years, but how did you feel when you heard Dalton Schultz? He's a former Cowboy, like K-Walk says, it's a fraternity, it's a brotherhood. You're supposed to kind of keep that in house. How did you feel him calling the organization a zoo?
Here's the thing. I don't mind a guy voicing their opinion. I'm totally fine with that. The issue that I would take with it, if he's saying because the way the organization is run, that's why the Cowboys aren't winning. Like, I would take issue with that if that's what he's trying to insinuate. If he's just pointing out differences, that's fine. There's differences amongst all the other teams. The organizations run themselves differently. But if he's saying the Cowboys don't win because of the distractions, because it's a zoo, I would take issue with that, because I would counter that by saying Jerry's been running the team like that ever since he's been there. And if it was good enough to win in the 90s, then I don't know that that's the reason why they're not winning now. So I would always just go back to and say, it's players. Like, players decide if you win or lose, and there's different ways to do it. Like, we hear so much about the Patriot way, right? When Belichick was there, and they did things a certain way, and everybody, the Patriot way wins, but they also had Tom Brady. And when Tom Brady left, now the Patriot way is not so good anymore, right? So I don't know if it's because it's a zoo, the Cowboys can't win. I just think Jerry chooses to run his organization like that. And they had some success a couple decades ago. They haven't been good enough to get it done now. But I don't take issue with Schultz's opinion, because that's really all it is. It's just his opinion about the two places that he's been.
But Jay, with that being said, Jerry won when he first got there. Yeah. But look, we got that. Back then they had pagers and beepers. Now we got cell phones and stuff like that. You got to change with the time. You got to roll with the, with the punches, if you will, man, because that stuff is not working anymore for him. To be honest with you.
And I will say this before Brittany goes. I'm gonna have to piggyback off of what Kevin said. Back in the 90s, it wasn't none of this going on. I mean, I understand you saying he was running the organization the way he was running the organization, but now we've elevated. Technology is booming. You know what I'm saying? State-of-the-art facilities. We didn't have none of this. What basically Schultz is saying is the when he's saying the zoo part of it, we got to keep it in context, is when you're at practice, you got all these tourists coming in and out of your facility while we in there practicing. So when Dalton Schultz said that, in that context, I don't think he said nothing wrong. Back in the 90s, Jerry didn't have that $1 billion playpen. You know what I'm saying? He had the stadium at Irvin. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have all this state-of-the-art stuff. That's what I think Dalton Schultz was saying. So when he gets to Houston, when you talk about DeMeco Ryans, a well-oiled machine, he's keeping the main thing the main thing.
And I hear that. I guess the only thing I would say is, to me, as if I was a player, I don't think that would be distracting. Like, I wouldn't care if I'm at practice, I'm practicing. Like, I don't care who's there. I don't care who's on the sideline. I don't care who's watching. On a much smaller scale, but when I was at Penn State, we would have people at practice all the time. Adam Sandler was at our practice. George H.W. Bush was at our practice. Like, there was people in the facility all the time. It never felt like a distraction. It was just part of the process. And I would just have a hard time believing that professional athletes are at practice, game planning, working on whatever, and they're like worrying about like who's getting a tour of the facility. I just don't think it is as big as impact as maybe people might think it is.
So I got another video to play, and it's Michael Irvin speaking to this. And then my next question, I'll tell the question now. Could the coach impact this as well? And so let me play the video, and then you guys respond to it. Okay, here we go.
It's such a tight ship. Jerry wanted to make football bigger than life, which is what he's basically done. And he wanted to bring in princes and everything. Jimmy wanted that locker room door closed, especially if we lost. He was not in any mood to let Jerry bring all these people around. And I think that was what started it.
So as you could see, you had Jimmy Johnson back in those days who ran a tight ship. So that's probably part of the reason why they were able to win those. Well, I think there was 3 Super Bowls. It was 3 Super Bowls with him, with Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
So he ran that tight
2 with
ship.
Jimmy and 1 with Barry
Switzer.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't have that coach right now. They have more of the I'll do anything you want type of coach. I'm just trying to please the ownership. Jimmy Johnson said, I'm here to win championships. So K-Walk, do you have something to speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about Michael Irvin, man, you know he's a diehard Cowboy fan. He's going to sit there and give you that rah-rah speech, no matter if he's in the huddle, if he's at the bar, or if he's on the if he's on the set of whatever show he's talking on. Yeah, it's basically what we've been talking about. It's like it's Jerry's world. Jerry wants to. He said in the beginning he wants to make football bigger than life. What does that? Money. And then and as K-Sap alluded to, is that the fact of the matter is he wants. We have these tours and they have these tours and things of that nature. But what brings that money? In order for you to have that money, you have to pay these superstars and things of that nature. So with that being said, I mean, Michael Irvin knows better than anyone, but he's been in there. Before we got on air, K-Sap talked about, what went down pretty much in Jerry's world, if you will. So anytime you talk about Jerry's world, you're going to talk about, the money, the distractions, things of that nature. And then obviously, what's going on right now with them right now, and they haven't made any moves, in free agency whatsoever, especially from a running back standpoint. But yeah, I mean, what Michael Irvin said, you got to listen to him because he knows, he was there, firsthand, and he knows exactly what Jerry's about. And we see it from the outside looking in, we see it as what Jerry's about. We all know that Jerry doesn't want to give up that GM status, things of that nature like that. He does, and I think that's his ultimate, his I don't want to say downfall. I guess a lack of a better term or lack of a better word is his Achilles heel. To be honest with you, he doesn't allow guys to be, he's the business guy. He should be fall back and be that business guy and let the football guys be the football guys. And I think that's ultimately his Achilles heel. Hope I answered the question, by the way.
No, you did. Kate said, you look like you want to say something so bad.
Man, K-Walk, man, hey, you said that so eloquently, man. And I'm going to echo every word that you said, and I'm going to take it a step further. If you go back and listen to the Michael Irvin interview, he said one thing that stood out. When Jimmy Johnson was here, he ran a tight ship. Just like Brittany said, they got 3 NFL Super Bowls out of that time that he was in Dallas, right? So he kept everything in-house. And what Kevin Walker said was Jerry Jones wants control. And if Jerry Jones don't got control, what happens? You see he gone. Then you brought Barry Switzer in there. He got one. Now you got Mike McCarthy running the show, but you got total control over Mike McCarthy.
Yes, sir.
So when you have total control over your head coach and your head coach can't coach these players, and then everybody goes in the media, well, what's wrong with Mike McCarthy? Everybody knows the answer, but they just don't want to say it.
Right.
It's Jerry Jones.
Yep.
And like you said, Michael Irvin knows firsthand, he's been in the Cowboy locker room. He's played with the Cowboys. Now he's the biggest Cowboy fan there is. Rah-rah, pom-poms, everything. But like Kevin Walker said, that's the common denominator is Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones wanting all this control. Jerry Jones is about that money. And when he can't get his way, what happens? They out of there.
Actually, guys, I hope he continues to get his way because every time he gets his way, they don't win. So I'm cool with that. It's been going on the last 20 semi years, well, almost 30 years. So I'm okay with that. But Jay, because you were saying he had ownership of the team in the 90s when he won the Super Bowl, but the coaches make a difference. And there's a reason why Jimmy Johnson left, because he got tired of Jerry Jones's antics. Your final thoughts on this?
So I would counter that by saying there's more than one way to win. There's very hard-nosed coaches. There's loosey-goosey coaches. Both have won over the course of history. Yeah, Jerry Jones was a tough, hard-nosed coach, but Barry Switzer wasn't.
Jimmy Johnson.
And they won with him the next year. So I'm not so sure that just being hard-nosed is the common denominator. I would take it back to players, that if you have the best players, you have a good chance to win regardless of some of the outside things. The other thing I would say is sometimes I agree with what you guys said about Jerry, but I also think that maybe he gets a little bit of a bad rap on some stuff. Like, do we really think Jerry is sitting there game planning with the head coach? I don't think that. Like, do we really think Jerry is saying, hey, on third down, we need to run this, or hey, let's dial up this blitz on second and long? Like, I just don't think he's involved in the day-to-day coaching. Yes, he wants to be in control. Yes, he wants to be the front man, but are we really suggesting that Jerry's involved with the game plan and he's the reason why the coaches have come up short? Because for me, that's a bridge too far.
I'm not saying that's the reason why they're coming up short. The thing about Jerry Jones is you got a nice facility out there. You got $1 billion playpen setting up in your box, right? I've been in his suite. So, in the course of the game and the things are not going correct, what does Jerry Jones do? He always want to make his way down to the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? That attention on Jerry Jones is just, he needs control. After every game, the first thing these reporters do is stick a mic in front of Jerry Jones's face.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, he don't even let his coaches really coach. I know what you're saying, Jason, about, Switzer wasn't a hard-nosed coach and they got a Super Bowl championship. But at the same time, what Michael Irvin was saying is when you're running a tight ship and you're keeping everything in-house, then your program is going to run a little smoother. That's just like in all sports. You want everything to stay in the locker room. You don't want nothing to get outside the locker room. You don't want this extra chatter. And that's basically what this all stems from. And I think that's what Dalton Schultz was alleviating to, when he said it's a zoo, because it's a national spectacle because of Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I think what Jerry Jones does, as to what K-Sap alluded to, he always got to talk right after the game. So, the mic is right in his face and he's willing to answer the question.
Exactly.
I feel like that puts a lot more pressure on your players. Unnecessary pressure in my mind. I think it gets to a point where they can't just focus on football. And I think that's what these players just want to do. Now, granted, you're in the entertainment system. They do know it's a little bit more than just football. But at the end of the day, when you come into practice or when you go into, when you go into your gym facility at at Dallas Cowboys practice facility, and you lifting weights, you don't want to constantly hear tapping on the wall and fans screaming at you. You want to stay as focused as you can to hopefully get to the Super Bowl. And that's not what's going on here in Jerry's world. And I think it won't happen until Jerry decides to step down and allow people who just want to focus on football be the main focus. Because at the end of the day, Dallas is a huge city. It's a huge city. It's going to get its fans. Dallas fans, they love their Cowboys regardless. So you don't need all the added
you're not allowed to
all the unnecessary. You don't need all the added spectacle stuff to try to bring attention to the team. It's already has attention brought to it. So just don't have the added pressure to the players, and I think it does. K-Walk, any final thoughts before we move on to our next topic?
Nah, I'm just convinced that Jay's a Cowboy fan because when you were talking, Britt, he was nodding his head. He was like, "Yes, you're right, Britt. Yeah." So Jay, you're not allowed to jump ship, man. I don't care how bad it looks like it's going to sink. You're not allowed to jump ship, man.
I'm on board now, man, because I be on this show every week fighting for my life when we talk about the Cowboys. So I'm on board now. I'm on board. I'm rolling with them again, K-Walk.
No,
All
you
right, man.
gotta
I want
have
to see that
somebody to go. You
tattoo. I
gotta
want to
have
see that.
somebody to go against you, Jason, man. I'm not here for that cowboy stuff, man.
Right, you ain't
I'm
the
gonna
only
let you
one, bro.
have it,
You ain't
man.
the only one, bro. Believe you me.
All right, guys, let's move on to our next topic. This past weekend, right? Well, actually, no, a few days ago, we had South Carolina women's college basketball. We had South Carolina versus LSU. As we all know, South Carolina beat LSU 79 to 72 to become the SEC champions. First, I just want to get on your thoughts on the game. And if you think this is a rivalry, it seems like it's starting to get to that rivalry status. But if you think it is, and then I have a follow-up question after that. Jay, I'm gonna come to you first on this
So
one.
I'm assuming the scuffle is going to be your follow-up question. So I'm going to stay away from that and just talk about the game for now.
No, you could talk about the
Okay.
scuffle. The
Okay.
follow-up question is about it, but not directly about it.
Okay. So from a game standpoint, I think the biggest difference between South Carolina and LSU, I think both their starting fives are really good. The thing I think Dawn has done over the course of the year is she has gone 9, 10, sometimes 11 deep into her bench.
Mhm.
And she's developed those young players to now she feels confident that she can actually put them on the floor. Whereas Kim has only played 6, maybe 7 people, and she has no bench. So when you play a team like South Carolina that can run 10 or 11 girls at you when you're trying to play with 6 or 7, it just gets tough in the fourth quarter. So to me, I think that's the biggest difference in those two teams. As far as a little scuffle, I hated it and I loved it at the same time. I really did, because these women are playing for an SEC championship. There's a lot on the line. They're passionate. They're out there banging. It's physical. And sometimes those things happen. And we see it happen in the men's game all the time, a little pushing, a little shoving. And I don't think we need to make a huge deal about it, right? I do place some blame on the refs, because I felt like there were things that happened throughout the course of the game where they could have kind of talked to the teams and got the game under control. So you can kind of feel it festering. But it was unfortunate because it put a little bit of a black eye on the game. But I don't think, it's this huge deal that maybe some of the national media is trying to turn it into.
Yeah. My goodness, is South Carolina good? Like you said, they're very deep, very deep. Angel Reese did everything she could, but I have to give credit to when she was playing. Cardoso is a much better player than I really think she is. Because when I look at it a lot of times I just see her as a big body down low. And a lot of people struggle with big bodies. That's why teams want that big body down low. But she's a lot more skilled than what I thought. Because I used to say she don't have no post moves. I'm not understanding the situation. I don't understand why everybody's so high up on her. But I do like her game. She does still have some more to develop, of course. But overall, man, when one player on South Carolina is just not playing well, you have someone to pick up the slack. You really do. And I think that's what kind of happened in this situation. Pow wasn't necessarily hitting on all cylinders. Bree Hall wasn't necessarily hitting on all cylinders. But they had, what is her name? Malaysia. I think her name is Malaysia.
Malaysia Fuwali. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, killing it. I think she had about 24 points. She picked up the slack where the others just were struggling. And when the Cardosa went out, which is a huge loss for that team, they were able to maintain during the end after that scuffle. But I got to give LSU credit. They did everything they could. I love Angel Reese's game. Of course, I do think, again, I said this before, I do think she needs to develop, like a 15, like a little jump shot to really, do her best at the next level. But for the college game, man, she's a double machine. I just, like Jay alluded to, they're just not deep enough to beat the South Carolina team. And I think that's where they struggled the most. KSAP, I'm going to come to you next. What are your thoughts on the game?
Man, Brittany, you know your stuff, huh? I basically gotta, echo some of the things that you said about, because your first question was, do you think it's a rivalry? If you look at it in that sense, because outside of South Carolina, LSU, Iowa, and USC, right? And when you think of them two teams, I would say it's becoming a rivalry, right? You look back at the first game. The first game, LSU jumped out on South Carolina. South Carolina was able to maintain their composure And just like Jason said, the thing about Dawn Staley, what separates her from most of these, coaches in the in women's college basketball, is she knows how to go into her bag. When we say the bag, she has a lot of tools in her tool bag, and she know what tools to bring out when she's supposed to bring them out. When she goes 10 to 11 deep, that's the difference. Kim Mulkey, 6, 7, 8 people deep. And if you notice, every time Angel Reese goes off the floor, the team struggles. The team struggles. And when you said about Cardoso, she's a big body, 6'7". Her and Angel Reese from that first game. What makes it very interesting is the way they're battling down there, talking with each other. It's in the good context of the game because Angel Reese, she's from my hood, she's from Baltimore, so she got that grit and grind. She knows how to play ball, but like you said, Brittany, she has to develop another skill set of that 15-foot jumper because to me personally, some of her moves are not fluid, but it's effective. Right. She'll miss a easy layup, get her own rebound, get the put back. She goes down there and battle, but like you said, Cordo, that's a big lady. And, she demands a lot of attention when she's down there battling. But like Jason said, every time Angel Reese goes out the game, LSU suffers. And you saw that in the first game when she fouled out, LSU kind of fell apart. South Carolina went on that run. But big ups to, Dawn Staley for having a brand new starting 5 and still go undefeated.
Yeah.
So she is grooming these young ladies in, and she's like Jason said, the confidence and the skill set that these players have and the trust that she has in her players makes it all right for South Carolina to do what they did. And kudos, like I said, kudos to Dawn Staley. But the first question you said, is it a rivalry? It's becoming a rivalry.
Yeah, KSAP, I agree with you. I do think it's becoming a rivalry. I didn't think so, last year. That it was, but that competition between Angel Reese and Cardoso, especially those two, I think they helped to make that a rivalry. The back and forth, the hair pulling, the elbows throwing.
I don't think I didn't think you saw that. You saw that clip when she pulled her hair.
That was blatant.
Yes,
blatant.
Yes.
But LSU is going to have to win to make it like they're 0-4. Like Kim has not beat Dawn since she's been there. So they're going to have to find a way to win one to really make the rivalry official. But you
heard what Angel Reese said at the post-game press conference. She said that they're going to have to see him again. They're going to have to run into him again. So I don't know when they're going to run into him. Is it going to be in the national championship game, the Final Four, or what? Right. But Angel Reese made it abundantly clear, y'all got to see us again. Yeah. We not scared. Yeah. We not ducking no smoke.
And that's the reason why I love Angel Reese. But K-Walk, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah. I mean, you guys hit everything else on the head. Yeah, all seriousness. Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to echo and sound like a little parrot here, man, and trained parrot, and just repeat everything you guys have said. But yeah, to answer the first question, I really believe it will be a rival for sure. For one, it's in conference. Dawn Staley, Kim, I just don't really like her. And going into this, I didn't like either one of these teams. But I tell you what, Dawn Staley, I'm a newfound fan of yours, Dawn. If you're listening, if you're watching, I loved everything, and I loved how you handled that situation. I mean, in the heat of the moment, right after the game, and the press conference as well. I just loved everything. And something, but maybe it's that Temple thing. I don't know. She did coach at Temple, and ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, thing. Let me have my moment for a second. Let me give a Temple thing in this.
Brittany had to slide that in there.
I know, right? Yeah, you saw that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, as a Temple alum, maybe there's something there. But yeah, it's probably a Philly thing. Yeah, to be honest with you, Britt. But yeah, I mean, I just loved everything the way that how Dawn Staley handled that, and then Cardoso and the way she came out and afterwards and gave that. I don't know if that was a PR thing, but I'm not trying to discredit her. The way she's articulated, what that was. That may have been a PR thing. I don't care. Nonetheless, she said it. She put her name on it. So I loved it, man. And then it was a lot of stuff being, overblown. Jay, to your point, with the refs, and I was surprised that you blamed the refs, because Jay usually doesn't blame the refs. Jay's usually take the refs off the hook, if you will. We saw this coming. If you watch the game from tip off to the final buzzer, we saw this coming. And you guys mentioned the elbow, the pulling of the hair, things of that nature. And I don't know if you guys read Cordoza's the one when it first started to happen. If you read her lips, she said, because Angel Reese said something to her, and then you read her lips, meaning Cardoza's lips. She said, "I love it, I love it," and that's exactly what she said.
Because that's out of respect. I think that they respectfully battling down there, and they kept it in the context of the game. Yeah,
exactly. And that's exactly where I was going with it. And with that being said, I mean, it's definitely going to be a rivalry, and we're going to see this down the road, and we're going to see, some recruiting things happen for sure. We're going to, when these young ladies that are in high school right now, or probably in a transfer portal, things of that nature, they're going to be like, oh, well, I love the way that Mulkey handled this, or I love the way that Dawn Staley handled this. Right. I want to be a part of this, because it's going to turn into something. It's starting to turn into something. For sure.
Women's basketball. Come on now. Come on. I'm getting excited. Yes, finally. All right. That's a later question. So I'm not going to jump too quick into that one. But guys, I do have another question pertaining to this. And it is regard to Kim Mulkey and Dawn Staley and what they said after the game regarding the little dust up, is what I like to call it. I don't like to call it real full-blown fights, but the dust up. So I am going to play another video, and it's just both their interviews, so it's back to back, so just bear with me. And then when I come back, I just want to get your thoughts. When we come back, I just want to get your thoughts on what they had to say and how it made you feel. All right, here we go.
No one wants to be a part of that. No one wants to see that ugliness. But I can tell you this. I wish she would have pushed Angel Reese. Don't push a kid. You 6'8", don't push somebody that little. That was uncalled for, in my opinion. Let those two girls that were jawing, let them go at it. No one.
Coach Staley, congratulations. Your 8th SEC championship in 10 years. How did you get it done today?
I mean, the players. It's all about the players being able to make plays on both sides of the basketball. I just want to apologize to the basketball community. When you're playing in championship games like this, in our league, things get heated. No bad intentions. They just try, their emotions got so far ahead of them that sometimes these things happen. So I want to apologize for us playing a part in that, because that's not who we are and that's not what we're about. But I'm happy for the players that were able to finish the game and get us another championship.
Coach, how will you address this with your team?
We're going to talk about it. We've always talked about it. Never leave the bench. Never get too high with the highs or low with the lows. It's hard when you're playing. I played this game a long time, and I can't tell you I was a saint at all times. Okay? Your emotions get the best of you. It's unfortunate that the players that got ejected can't be a part of the celebration.
So I just want to get your thoughts on what they both had to say. Jay, I'm gonna come to you first on this one.
Yeah, so to me, like, Kim Mulkey, a complete lack of accountability, right? No one wants to see that mess. Well, your players contributed to it, right? Like, they weren't blameless in the situation. And then the whole idea of, I wish she would have pushed Angel Reese. Like, so what then? So that a fight could break out on the court. Look, I understand that there are some things that coaches might say to their team in the locker room, and then things that you say publicly. To, like, if that's how you really feel, say that to your team in the locker room. That's not something you say publicly. Dawn, just incredibly gracious, incredibly apologetic, just total class on Dawn's side and a total lack of accountability on the other side. So honestly, Mulkey should be embarrassed with those comments. Really, I mean, I know she's not, because it's on brand for her, but she should be embarrassed. That was disgraceful, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was literally like night and day. Like it literally made no sense to me whatsoever. The things that Kim Mulkey was saying. First of all, Cardosa, if I can recall, is also a kid. These are just kids being young, getting in, it's in the moment, the competition, things happen. So, like you said, Jay, just a lack of accountability, the blame game. You're supposed to be the mentor for these young ladies, and then I just don't like how she carries herself, and how she's mentoring these young ladies, unfortunately. And like you said, I'm just reiterating everything you said, Jay. Dawn, come on. I mean, what more can I say? And it's not K-Walk, you said a little bit earlier, it could be a PR move, it could not be a PR move. But regardless of the fact, she took the high road, she took accountability for her girls' actions. She said we shouldn't be doing this at all. And she will talk to her girls to make sure it doesn't happen again. But we all have to grow. And then she also said she was never a saint herself, so she does understand, from when she played basketball and how things can go. And I'm not trying to say this because I'm a favorite, I just love Dawn, but I do love Dawn, and I just love how she handles things all the way. But K-Sap, your thoughts on Kim Mulkey and Dawn Staley?
Well, first of all, man, K-Walk, you made it believable to find this newfound grace for Dawn Staley, right?
Right.
And I want to ask you guys a question. When are we going to start holding Kim Mulkey accountable, right?
Right.
And the reason why I say that is you go back to her time at Baylor with Brittany Griner, right? You look at some of the situations pertaining to Brittany Griner, how she has publicly came out and said some things about Brittany Griner. Then the situation with Brittany Griner when she was detained in Russia, how she spoke. Mm-hmm. She never wanted to support that. She didn't want to speak on that, right? Now we fast forward. And when I say that is because you go back to the beginning of the season when Angel Reese was visibly missing out of the lineup.
Yep.
How did Kim Mulkey handle that situation, right? So now we fast forward to the scuffle. The things that Kim Mulkey said is basically she's condoning violence on the women level. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I wish she would have pushed Angel Reese.
Right.
Like Jason said, what you want to see a big fight break out? Right? Then you look at the grace, the way that Dawn Staley handled the situation. It's in the heat of the battle. They got beside themselves. You know what I'm saying? But like Jason said earlier, if the refs would have got control of that game earlier to set the tone, like, we're not going to tolerate that. We can keep it between the lines, but we're not going to go overboard. But for Kim Mulkey to address it the way she did, we got to start holding her accountable. Sometimes I say to myself, we got to keep Kim Mulkey from the microphone because a pair of lips will say anything, and it seems like she'll say anything. She downplayed the whole situation. Yep. And it's like, man, I just don't understand you representing women's basketball where women's basketball right now is booming.
It's on fire.
Mm-hmm. It's on fire. You got a nice brand out there with all these collegiate players that are doing, special things, from Caitlin Clark to Juju Watkins to Angel Reese to all the players that you have on South Carolina, right? For you to have a black eye like that and for you to come out to address it the way you did, I just think it's time that we need to start holding Kim Mulkey accountable.
Yep. 100%.
Absolutely. K-Walk, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, again, you guys stole my thunder, especially Kay. I was actually where I was going with that. When are we going to start? Because everything that she's mentioned in the past, and then what she's recently said, about the Cordos and about the the Angel Reese, Flojo is one of those. I love when she went up to Dawn Staley. And they talked, and then
yes.
Flaugier. I'm sorry, so I don't know what I said, but I'm sorry. I think I Flojo. My bad.
Flojo.
That's a topic for tomorrow, but that's a long story. Another topic. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But what they talked about and what Dawn Staley has come out and said, about what. A little bit of the conversation that took place. She came up to this, I apologize, and she's like, I know that you're not that type of player. Can we see her? If we're going to hold Kim Mulkey accountable, I want to see that transfer. I want her to go into the transfer portal, and I want her to transfer from LSU to South Carolina. Can we do that? Can we see that? Can we see that? I mean that would be good, a big statement there, man, because you're sitting there acting like, the other day I watched Saturday or Sunday, I watched Django. You guys you familiar with that?
Yeah,
that
with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
She kind of remind me of that situation. I'm not gonna go too deep into that, ladies and gentlemen. That's how I feel about her. I'm just gonna leave it there. But nonetheless, you just want these guys. You want these ladies just to play ball, for sure. Do go out there, show what what you can do. Put it on the floor, ball, and no elbow, and then sit there and give all that and pull hair. We see it. Big brother's watching, Jay, what Coach always used to tell us in high school, the eye in the sky, don't lie. Exactly. You know what I mean? So you're going to be caught. You're going to be caught in that. So with all that being said, I think Loki has to be held accountable at some point. Who's going to call her out? I don't know. Maybe a player. I think a player has to do that first and foremost, because we're all seeing this and we're all saying the same thing. So that's
K-Walk, you bring up a good point, because number one, you're right. Who is going to call her out? Because she wins a ton of games. So it's not like the administration's probably going to have a lot to say.
No,
but the other thing is, though, if I'm a parent of a young girl, particularly, maybe even of a young African-American girl.
Scary to say that. Yep.
Kim Mulkey is not like, they ain't on my short list. If they come call it, I'm sorry. I'm not taking that call. Because she just gives off, whatever it is that she gives off, it's just not vibing with me. So I think maybe accountability could come if some of these young recruits are just saying, nah, that's not what I want to be a part of.
Yeah. Jay, you mentioned it right on the head, and I'm gonna just say it. Let's be real. Like you said, these are young African American women, and she's the mentor of these young African American women. But she needs to understand that they're gonna automatically be viewed differently than she is just from the color of their skin. So how she acts and they're following behind her because they trust her. They're not going to be viewed the same. Andrew Reese is already
grace,
right. They won't get the same grace. So she has to understand that. She has to take accountability for that. She has to care enough about these young lady or young women, I should say, to say, you know what, I have to do something differently to ensure that people like Angel Reese is not called a thug because of my actions, because that's exactly what's going to happen. And that's what's been happening. As hard as it is for a lot of us to have these conversations, this is what it is out here in the real world. I love sports, but at the end of the day, there's still life after sports, but it starts with this type of platform. And Kim Mulkey is the leader of these young women that look up to her. So, and Dawn Staley, I think she better understands that because she is an African-American woman, and she understands I have to be positive within my locker room. I had to show these young ladies how to have a positive mindset, how to take accountability, and really how to act. Unfortunately, I wish we could all act the same, but the reality is we just can't. All right, guys. On that note, I'm gonna head into a break. It's not going to be a long break, but when we come back, I do want to get into the NFL because it is NFL free agency and things are going crazy. And I just heard the Eagles just brought back C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That's not going to be one of our conversations, but I'm happy because they got some sort of safety because sorry, I'm just ranting off already. And that's supposed to be at the end of the show. But anyway, when we come back, we'll get into NFL free agency. You guys are watching The Sideline Speaks with myself, Brittany Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker. And our special guest, K-Sap from Simply Ball Dropping. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel as well. Also subscribe, like, and comment our channel as well. And we'll be right back with more.
CampLyman.com is an opportunity for my big boys to come get some work. Let's put it all together. We built from the ground up. Our cliche is it all starts up front. Once again, start, stance, hand placement, hand separation, get offs, counter moves, a little bit of everything. Polish up those skills before your middle school or high school season began. Just come work on your craft. Once again, camplyman.com.
You're inside Never Had It So Good Sports Radio with Princess Cooper, Tim Moore, David the Duck Riley, Jason Collins, Shoshana Cook, Brittany Jones, Travis McGee, Eric Scott, and Kevin Walker. We make it easy to talk sports.
Welcome back. I see K-Walk tried to slide in quick. Welcome back to the Sideline Speaks with myself, Brittany Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker. And of course, with our special guest, KSAP from Simply Ball Dropping, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Media Network. All right, guys, prior to the break, I said I wanted to get into NFL free agency because there is so much going on. Most of our teams, the 49ers, the Eagles, the Vikings, have done something to help the team. Jay's team, the so-called Cowgirls, signed a long snapper.
Hey, we playing chess, not checkers. We out here
every little
playing
thing
chess.
helps, I guess.
Brett, that's the most valuable player, man. They punt a lot. They punt a lot.
They do punt a lot. Yes, that is true. So that means we got Dak Prescott. No, but no, I wanna get into Russell Wilson. As we all know, he was released by the Denver Broncos earlier in the offseason. Basically, it felt like mid-season he was released, if we being honest. But he ended up signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and his deal is a 1-year, $1.21 million vet minimum, which the Broncos will then pick up the rest, which is $39 million they owe him. My goodness. I just want to know, get your thoughts on this signing and his fit with Pittsburgh. K-Walk, I have had you go last so many times. I'm gonna have you go first this time.
No, I appreciate it, man, because it's hard to follow this crew right here, man. It really is. So, with that being said, yeah, I mean, I like it. I think it's a good fit, and then I talked on this show, on our show and my show as well, is that this is a perfect fit because you don't know what you're going to get with Kenny Pickett. I mean, there's a lot of talk about his hands being so small, things of that nature. You don't have a backup there. You ran through Mitch Trubisky, you ran through Mason Rudolph, and I forget the other guy. There was one more. I can't think of his name. But nonetheless, I think this is a perfect fit for this organization. And I like what the Rooney family is doing, and I think it's going to be a really good combination or collaboration, if you will, with him and Mike Tomlin. They just traded Dante Johnson to the Panthers. I saw that. That just came through. Wow. But nonetheless, they still have Pickett. They still have Hayden in the backfield. They still have Najee Harris as well, and the tight end, which his name escapes me right now. And then their defense, they picked up some quality guys here on defense as well. So that defense is always going to be there for the Pittsburgh Steelers because that's their staple. They want to be a physical team. They want to start with defense and they want to run the ball. They don't have the best defensive line. I mean, the offensive line, but they have a decent offensive line. And I think with Russell Wilson and his legs, it'll allow that offensive line, a little bit of support, if you will, meaning they don't have to block, because you're going to have Najee off the tackle, you're going to have Hayden off the tackle, and then Russell Wilson can buy time by using his legs left and right, if you will. So I don't think they're done. Obviously, we got the draft, and there are some guys out there that are still available, and of course the draft as well. So I like this, man. I really like this. And one of the questions that on my show tomorrow night is I'm going to pose to the audience is this. I don't want to give it away, but I'm asking this question maybe to you guys: does this put them in a position where they can win the AFC North? And we know that the AFC North is arguably the best division in all of football. Arguably, I mean, it's very arguable. Because you got the Baltimore Ravens. They just picked up Derrick Henry. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here. If I am, I apologize. And then you got the Browns. They made some significant moves. And then you also have the Browns, the Ravens, the Bengals.
Yes.
I'm not sold on the Bengals. Bengals might be in line. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. That's a different animal. I'm just simply saying. But yeah. But I'm going back to the question. Yeah, I like the move. I think it's a perfect move, and I think it's going to be a move that where Russell Wilson is. I don't know if he's betting on himself. I mean, he's got enough money to do it, so he's going to bet on it. He's betting on himself to get that long-term deal with him.
One thing I'm going to say about this situation: coaching. I think he's a much better position when it comes from the coaching standpoint.
Love it, bro.
I think that Mike Tomlin will help Russell Wilson. I'm not going to say get back to where he was because he is older. He did decline just a little bit.
He might though, Brett.
Close to. I think we're going to see a much better, productive, more successful Russell Wilson than we've seen the last so many years with Denver. I just think Denver was a mistake, to be honest with you. They didn't put really nothing around them. Offensive line was terrible. The defense was good at one point in time, then they kind of fell off to me. And then he just went into his first head coach there, Nathaniel Hackett, was clueless. Had no idea what the heck.
Couldn't hack it.
Sean Payton Sean Payton came into when he was hired already showing that he didn't believe in Russell Wilson from the gate. And I think that does impact your confidence, that impacts how you play on the field. And it starts getting to like, why am I even here type of thing. I think he's in a much better situation. He is playing around a lot of young guys. So I do think hopefully he can help. Maybe this could help him develop and grow his leadership role a little bit more. And I think Mike Tomlin will help him with that. I just think him with Mike Tomlin, I'm being honest with you guys. I love Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin will put Russell Wilson in a position to be successful. And you know, this is a guaranteed playoff team. Yes. When was the last time Mike Tomlin did not make the playoffs? He always makes the playoffs. So I don't think they're the best team in the AFC North yet, but I do like the moves, K-Walk. I love the pickup of Patrick Queen. I love, you just said the other, I can't even think of it right now. I just had a blink in my head, but I literally just had a blink in my head. But I love their pickup so far this offseason. And I think he will help. George Pickens will help him, and he's going to help George Pickens because no disrespect to Kenny Pickett, but I don't think he's it. He's not it whatsoever. I think they have the quarterback that they need to get to the next level. K-Sap, I'm going to come to you next on your thoughts.
Yeah, on that, like Kevin Walker said, man, all the additions that he's named is perfect for Pittsburgh. And like you said, Brittany, when I think about it, man, I grew up in a Pittsburgh Steelers household, man. My mother and father diehard Steeler fans. My sister still loves the Steelers. My oldest brother loves the Steelers. Yeah, so it's like, you know, it's before we just grew up in that household. Yeah, that was before Ravens. You know, the Ravens are the old Cleveland Browns. So we look at it like this. But I look at it like this. With Russell Wilson coming to, Pittsburgh, I think y'all covered it on a show before that y'all was stating where y'all think Russell Wilson would land. And I think I commented and said, man, the perfect fit would be Pittsburgh. And the reason why I say that, like Kevin Walker said, he's coming over there betting on himself. And when he's betting on himself, but we got to ask this question. Is he going to be thrust into the starting role, or does he got to compete with Kenny Pickett? I always call Kenny Pickett Wilson Pickett because he's not doing nothing no time soon, right? I don't think Kenny Pickett is the answer to what the Pittsburgh Steelers want to do. When you think about Pittsburgh Steelers football, you don't think mediocre. You don't think mediocre. Like Brittany said, Mike Tomlin, since he's been there, has had a winning season ever since he's been there. And with the additions that they made, and I think that would help out George Pickens, but like Jason said or Kevin said, I think that Russell Wilson might be rejuvenated with the pairing with him and Mike Tomlin. So I think it's a perfect marriage. I think it's a perfect fit. And Russell Wilson betting on himself, yeah, he's getting the 1.1 bet minimum, but you got to think about it. Denver got to pay that $39 million. Yeah. So he's not stressed for no cash or anything like that. So I think he's going in there stress-free. He's going in there, and I think he can push Kenny Pickett, but he's going to push Kenny Pickett right out the back door. So I think Russell Wilson, he'll take over the starting job. But I think when y'all talking about, the AFC North, them Ravens, man. I'm not going to jump too far. I'm not going to jump too far ahead. But even though they did lose Patrick Queen, but at the same time, you got to understand when you bringing in a Derrick Henry to match with Lamar Jackson, to open up that run game, to get that passing threat going. It's going to be some scary times, but that's my thoughts. I think that, Russell Wilson coming to Pittsburgh, I think that is a step in the right direction to put Pittsburgh, because like Mike Tomlin always finds a way to get into the playoffs. He always finds a way to win, and with adding Russell Wilson, I think it's going to be a boost to that locker room, knowing that they got somebody in there that has won a Super Bowl, that has some veteran presence, has veteran leadership, and can bring and put and execute on the football field. I think that team will respond. And defensively, you put the defense and the offense, and they're on the same page, Pittsburgh can do some things.
Yeah, Britt, before you get started, man, I have to say one thing, man. I have to change my name because K-Sap keeps calling me Kevin Walker, man. I feel like I'm either in trouble or my government name, man. I'm not called that.
Put K-Walk up there.
I know, I've been going through that.
I'm going to simplify it to K-Walk. My bad.
Yeah. No, you good. You good, brother. You going by what's up there. But but you're Britt. You're right. I was just thinking, I was like, I got to change my name to K-Walk because Kevin Walker sounds like I'm in trouble all the time. But go ahead, Britt. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say everything that Case said, absolutely. And I think that the one difference is he's walking in and this organization is trusting him. Because as we know, the Steelers organization, first of all, they're a great organization. They've been so for many, many, many years. And they're not going to sign a player if they don't trust them. So they brought him in because we trust you. We're bringing you in to do a specific job, and we think we have the right coach to help you with that. But Jay, your thoughts on Russ's fit?
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Steelers, it's a no lose situation. You're on the hook for $1 million. If it doesn't work out, there's really nothing lost there. But I think you're right. Like the leadership of Mike Tomlin will be great. The defense that Pittsburgh will play, the running game that they have. I mean, all these things are going to work in Russell Wilson's favor for sure. So I think it's definitely a nice place to have a fresh start for Russ. And I hope he does well there. But as you guys alluded to, man, that division is a nightmare. Like, think about, I heard someone talking about this earlier this week. Who's the worst quarterback in that division? Who's the worst quarterback in that division?
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson.
I want to say Joe Burrow because he's losing his weapons.
Nah, I got to agree with Brittany. I think Deshaun I haven't seen the real Deshaun Watson show up ever since he came back.
But if he ever returns back to his form, like, I don't know, like you could argue that Russ is the worst quarterback in that division. Like, I would agree that right now, I would probably say Deshaun as well, just because he hasn't gotten back to form. But boy, that division is a nightmare. So yeah, it's going to be some tough roads ahead for sure.
Yeah, I have the Baltimore right now. I have Baltimore. I just think both sides of the football. My goodness, and though they lost Patrick Queen, they still have the better linebacker in Roquan Smith. So as long as they have
Matabike on the defensive line, you got to think about that.
Yep, they just re-signed him.
Is rough too, man.
I could be more than
Miles Garrett. But the only thing with Cleveland that I'm concerned about, and I know they just traded for Jerry Jeudy. If he helps, hopefully he has some talent, but what he do what he's supposed to do, I think that's why the Broncos was willing to get rid of him. Is Deshaun Watson. Like, we just don't know what to think of that offense right now in this moment.
He's a question mark.
Their defense, fantastic, absolutely, especially with Myles Garrett. My goodness. But right now, on both sides of the football, they just got Derrick Henry to add to that, as K-Sep alluded to earlier. My team right now is Baltimore. I got to go with Baltimore.
Agree.
All right, guys, let's move on because we got to get to another big-time NFC not NFC sign. Actually, it is an NFC signing. Now I'm sitting here thinking about it. I meant to say NFL, but it is an NFC signing. And that's Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins went from the Minnesota Vikings. I'm sorry, K-Set. I don't know who your quarterback is, Sam Darnold. I think that's it. Went from the Minnesota Vikings and decided to sign with the Atlanta Falcons for 4 years, worth $180 million. 100 million guaranteed. I think that's about 45 per year, somewhere in that range. I swear, I feel like he keeps fleecing these guys. I don't know how he gets this high paying.
Kirk knows how to get paid. Yeah. He knows how to get paid.
Yes, he does. I'm gonna have K-Sep go first on this one because this was he was your quarterback of your team, which is the Minnesota Vikings. If you guys can't see, it's on his shirt. How do you think he'll help the Falcons to become contenders?
Oh yeah, Kirk Cousins will. He will help the Falcons to become contenders. And the reason why I say this is if you look at the last couple seasons, what was the biggest gripe on the Atlanta Falcons? The quarterback position, right? Now, Atlanta got a lot of weapons. You know what I'm saying? Bijan Robinson. You got Kyle Pitts. Now, they just traded and they got Darnell Mooney, right? Got another, a speedy receiver, right? Also, you got Drake London. Now, Drake London is going to be probably compared to, the Justin Jefferson of that group, the way that Kurt utilized him, Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. But at the same time, that was the missing piece that I think Atlanta and that NFC South to compete. So now when you bring in Kirk Cousins, right, that opens up a lot of things. And a lot of, I'm not a big Kirk Cousins fan, but Kirk Cousins was the best option for Minnesota, right? So when I say that is when Kirk Cousins, signed that contract, I told my son, I was like, man, that's going to hurt Justin Jefferson's chances of signing this long-term deal because he made it abundantly clear last year that that Kirk Cousins was the quarterback that he wanted. We saw when Kirk Cousins went down. We saw what Joshua Dobbs did. He kind of fizzled out. And then we saw what Hall did. So our quarterback play was stagnant, right? So now that we lose Kurt, he goes to Atlanta. That makes Atlanta a formidable, opponent. You know what I'm saying? So, Kurt got the weapons around him to do the things that he needs to do. But at the same time, I just sense that at this time, that's what Atlanta was missing. So I think Kirk Cousins is going to give him a jolt. But we got to see how he's recovering from that Achilles injury. But, we all saw Aaron Rodgers had Achilles surgery on Monday. He was throwing the football on Tuesday. So, we got to understand that I think in this sense that Kirk Cousins does put Atlanta up there in that NFC South. But, you got Tampa Bay. You're not worried about Carolina. But at the same time, I just think, me personally, we know Baker had a great year in Tampa Bay last year. He got his money in free agency. But I just think at this time, I would put my money on the Atlanta Falcons because of the weapons that they have.
Yeah.
Well, before I respond, I do want to shout out. We did have somebody. I'm sorry if I mispronounced this. Is it Malachi Visuals? Is that what it says?
Malachi Visuals. That's my
Malachi
son.
Visuals.
He just chimed in.
That's your who? I'm sorry.
That's my son. That's my son. He's a Ravens fan. That's my son.
Okay. All right.
Said, nice take. I'm a big Ravens fan. Y'all going somewhere this year. Definitely.
We'll see y'all there. We'll see y'all there.
But no, I like the Kirk Cousins addition. Especially for Kyle Pitts. I just felt like with Desmond Ridder, for some reason they just weren't looking Kyle Pitts' way. And if they did, it was less than maybe a couple yards. They didn't give him much space to really operate in. Kyle Pitts is a pure playmaker. He is supposedly a tight end, but to me, he's a weapon on that offensive side of the ball. He really is. Now he has a quarterback that could get him the football. Now he also, to me, has a great coach. I think that will help both Kirk Cousins and Kyle Pitts and Raheem Morris. And I also think that was a big addition as well. And that could be one of the reasons why Kirk Cousins decided to go there also. Yeah. But I think he's just going to help this young core of extremely talented playmakers. Bijan Robinson, I'm excited to see what he does with Kirk Cousins as his quarterback. I really am. In a run game and a pass game and all that he can offer. But when I look at the NFC South, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. With the addition of Kirk Cousins, I have them winning the NFC South. I really do. I don't have that much faith in the Panthers. Absolutely not. You're bugging. I'm sorry. They're just pointless. They just traded away their best. They keep trading away their best players. I'm not understanding this. I don't get it.
Wow.
Tampa Bay, I think, like you said, they had a decent year last year. I just don't see much going too much further for them. I think that's kind of their ceiling. You think they capped out? Gonna reach. I think they capped out. I'm be honest with you. Mike Evans, I know they just re-signed him, but he is getting a little older. Yeah. He might get another 1,000-yard season, sure. But I'm not that huge fan of Baker Mayfield. I've never really been that huge fan of his. He's talented. He's just not my forte. The Saints, they're just inconsistent. They could have talent. They're just, to me, just very inconsistent at times, and it's irritating because you have a lot of talent. It's kind of like they don't know what to do with it. And I don't know if it's a coaching standpoint. I don't know if it's due to injuries, whatever it may be. Maybe I just don't believe that they're going to do what's needed to be done to win the NFC South. So this year, I'm going with the Falcons this year.
Yeah.
Jay, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, look, being here in Atlanta, I can tell you the Falcons lost 5 or 6 games in the last 2 minutes, right? And you just can't, like, you need a competent quarterback to win close games late. And one thing Kirk Cousins is, he is a competent professional quarterback. He's not going to blow your socks off with maybe his arm talent or his ability to run, but he's good enough at everything to win you football games. So I think it's a great signing for Atlanta. I think it gets them over the hump. The only concern I have is he is 35 years old and he did blow out his Achilles in week 8. So how good is he going to be in August, September, October? Is it going to take him till mid-season to find his form? So to me, that would be the only concern. Can he come back and be effective early enough coming off that injury? But if he does, I think it's perfect for Atlanta because, like you guys said, the division's wide open.
Yes.
And I think with their talent and his ability just to be a competent NFL quarterback, that'll be enough to get them over the hump.
Yeah, he definitely knows how to win.
That was the best option out there. That was the best option out there for Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Outside of Justin Fields, but I don't know what happened that way. But like you said, Jason, man, you know, Kurt, he will deliver that football. And I go back to what Brittany said about Kyle Pitts. Now, you know, when Kurt was in Minnesota, how he utilized these tight ends. When T.J. Hockenson came over, how he was utilizing T.J. Hockenson, right? Now you got a better athlete in Kyle Pitts, right? Kyle Pitts. You got a faster Kyle Pitts. I think a better route runner. I think with his hands are exceptional, and Kurt knows how to get it to these tight ends, right? Yeah. And like Jason said, you know, Kurt throws a good ball. When he throws a ball, he throws a good ball. And like you said, he's a game manager. He don't blow your socks off, but he will deliver.
Yeah,
and I think this is what Atlanta needs. Exactly.
Yep.
I will say this. Most teams have to work on their offensive line. I know they got to work on their offensive line.
But can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
I'm breaking up.
No, we got you.
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm sounding like you guys, but anyway,
yeah,
I when you look at it, and again, Kay stole my thunder there a little bit at the end, but you know what, Raheem, when he came into the when he came into his press conference, said, "I'm only here because the quarterback play was horrible." Now he didn't say horrible, but I'm paraphrasing there. It was horrible. Quarterback play wasn't there. And then on top of that, when you talk about Kirk Cousins, it wasn't a mobile quarterback to begin with. So, you know, I mean, he that Achilles injury shouldn't hurt him too much, if you will, because he's a pocket quarterback.
He's a great pocket passer, just like you said.
Perfectly honest with you.
Yes.
So I think that, you know, he's going to be all right there. We don't see a Kirk Cousins as a Lamar Jackson or as a as a Jalen Hurts, anything of that, that stretch of the imagination. So I don't think it's gonna that's gonna set him back a little bit too much. But nonetheless, I like this pickup, and I really do, because they were a quarterback play away from being a really good team. You guys all mentioned the players, Robinson and Pitts and Drake London, and they have a decent defense. So I think that and with Raheem Morris as their head coach, who's a defensive minded guy, he's going to spend a lot more time in that defensive meeting room than anywhere else. So I think they're going to be all right. I think I don't want to say too much about Kirk Cousins because I got a lot to say right now. I got a lot to say about him later, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned.
But yeah, absolutely. I do. Like I was saying prior, whatever the breakup was, they are going to have to shore up the offensive line, because one thing we do know about Kirk Cousins, I don't care what anybody says, he can get rattled. He could get rattled. But I think this is a good start for Atlanta Falcons, and I think he can carry them and get them to that next stage. So, but congratulations to the Falcons. We'll see you when we see you. I don't know if we play you this year, but Still not that great. No, I'm just talking crap. All right, guys. Let's move on. Before we head into break, I want to circle back to women's basketball. Because I recently heard a few NBA players talk about, former NBA players, I should say, like Carmelo Anthony. I think Kevin Garnett also mentioned a few things. Talk about how women's basketball is basketball in its purest form. And I want to ask you guys a question. Is women's basketball appreciated enough? K-Walk, I'm going to start with you first on this one.
I don't think K-Walk can hear you, Britt.
Can you hear me?
He switched headphones.
Yeah,
he looks like he can't hear a word you're saying.
That's fine. All right, so K-Sap, I'm gonna go to you next until K-Walk can come back.
Well, I think now that, a lot of people have picked up on it, a lot of ex-NBA players, even, current NBA players are talking about women's basketball in its whole totality. So when you say underappreciated, at times I thought it was underappreciated, but now I think it's getting its respect that is warranted, right? And when I say that is, you got a lot of guys, like you said, the Carmelo, I've heard Carmelo Anthony say it and things like that. Now the national spotlight is on women's basketball now, because when I tell people about women's basketball, we don't give the ladies their praise, right? We don't give them the praise that they're due. And when I say that is because I'm sitting here thinking about, college basketball, men's college basketball, and I'm thinking, like, watching the season, then I say to myself, can you really name 10 guys that play for, the men's college basketball? You can't do it. You can't just rattle off 10 guys in college basketball right now on the men's side that are playing outside of what the women are doing. So when Brittany said, is it underappreciated? I think it is underappreciated. But I think it's now getting this more light because what we saw last year with the emergence of the Caitlin Clarks, the Angel Reeses, you know what I'm saying? The South Carolina team, they didn't expect LSU to win the championship. They didn't think they could take down Iowa because of what Caitlin Clark was doing. So I thought that last year brought the women's basketball to the forefront. And at that time, I thought they was underappreciated. But now I think they're getting their just dues because that's all we're talking about now is women's college basketball. So right now, to your question, Brittany, it was underappreciated, but now I think it's getting its just dues.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we still have a ways to go because we'll really be appreciated when that money start flowing in. Because that money start flowing in, and these girls get what they deserve money wise, and then I'll say, all right, now we're at a level of appreciation that I like. But it's a start. It is a start, and I can appreciate that because for so long people will say to me. I was a basketball player, but people would say to me is women's basketball. I'd rather go to a men's basketball. And then they would look at me crazy when I say, well, if you want real, true basketball, you want to watch the women's game. I think the men's game, as much as I love watching the NBA and men's college basketball, a lot of times they lean so much on their athleticism. The technique and fundamentals is just not there. When you watch the women's game, like Carmelo Anthony said, it is in its purest form. That's how you're supposed to play basketball on both sides of the court. Every player in, let's go to the WNBA, for instance, every player is extremely skilled to the point where they don't have enough teams. You have extremely talented female basketball players that's not even in NBA, and they have to go overseas. So, and I think that needs to be changed. And I think that is because of the lack of appreciation. There's not enough marketing that goes towards women's basketball. And I'm glad that is slowly starting to change. We're starting to see that change slowly but surely. But I do think it needs to happen a lot quicker. Those big wigs, come on now. You're seeing it, like K-Sep alluded to. People know almost every women's college basketball player name. They are becoming household names right now. Them NIL deals are climbing like crazy because of the women's college basketball. So I'm excited. I'm so excited to say. I wish I was younger I really wish I was younger. That maybe I would have said, "Yeah, I gotta get to get to the WNBA because things are changing." Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Juju Watkins, so forth. They about to get paid. They're going to get paid like we've never seen before, and I think this is the beginning of it from everything. I think this is really going to change things, and maybe the next thing is the big time sneaker deals for women because they get them, but we just don't know. My other issue is I still don't know where to get the WNBA tickets from. You have to go to their site to buy tickets versus like a ticket master and so forth. And I have one thing to say to the NBA, because you are the main brand, and the WNBA falls underneath you. Let's be real. Okay. Why don't we have a team in Philadelphia? Are you out of your mind? I need a team in Philly today. But Jay, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I think people who love basketball, I think they do appreciate the women's game, especially on the college level. Like you've seen in the last couple of years how the women's college game has just exploded. And to your point, KSAP, like I may have watched 4 or 5 men's college basketball games this year, but I can't tell you how many women's games I've watched.
Oh, yeah.
So like the women's college game, Britt, I really think the interest, the loyalty, the fandom, it's all there. I would say though, the WNBA, I don't think those ladies are getting the respect and appreciation they deserve yet. And I think there's a lot of reasons why. I don't think the marketing is great. The advertising's not great. It's hard to know when and where to find the games. Like, I think there's just a lot of hurdles that the WNBA is fighting against right now. But I'll tell you what, like, if you really watch these ladies play, like, they are incredibly skilled. Like,
Yes.
if you go back and watch a women's basketball game from 10 to 15 years ago compared to the skill level now, like, it is leaps and bounds different. So
Night and day.
I think it's coming, Britt. The college game, it's there. I'd love to see some of that excitement and energy transfer over to the WNBA. And maybe as some of these players like Caitlin Clark, like Angel Reese, maybe as their notoriety continues to grow, hopefully some of the fandom will follow them to the WNBA. So I think it's coming, but it's not quite there yet.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Jay, I think it'll come once these young ladies go into the WNBA, because they're going to bring all that the skill set, the competition, the back and forth, competitive antics. Because just like, you have rivalries in the NBA, you're starting to see that now in college basketball, and that's going to grow right into the WNBA, because they're all getting entered into the WNBA basically at the same exact time. So I think more people are going to get excited about the WNBA. As for me, I've been excited about the WNBA since '96. So, but I understand basketball. I love.
Yeah.
I was 6. Yeah. I was 6 years old. Don't do that, Greg. I was 6.
I go back to what Brittany said. Her whole soliloquy, man. You said that with a passion. You said that like you had some things to get off your chest, right? and the reason why I say that is of some of the things that you said. And I caught a few points when you was talking about the money issue, right? Why come women are not making a little bit more than what they're making, right? And that's why these women on their downtime have to go overseas and play to get that income. But now with these NIL deals, the name, image, and likeliness, you know what I'm saying? These women are about to explode, you know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that when Angel Reese and Flajay Johnson, after they won the national championship last year, and they said in the post-game press conference, they said they good. They not in a rush to get off to the next level. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but what Brittany said is about the notoriety and the marketing. I just think that they could do a better job of marketing, these young ladies, and marketing, women's basketball. Because like right now, like Jason said, I've tuned into these women's college basketball games, and I'm sitting there, watching LSU, South Carolina, Iowa, and every time I say something about, Angel Reese, my son and my niece talking about, stop glazing her. No, I'm not glazing her. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the terminology that they use when I'm sitting there watching LSU, they be on FaceTime and they's like, oh, you know, he up here glazing Angel Reese again. No, I'm appreciating women's basketball for what it is right now, because you guys don't understand, because, you know, growing up, you know, in the, you know, early 70s and stuff like that, and then watching women's college basketball with, you know, Cheryl Miller and things like that. Everything is different now. You know what I'm saying? Right. And, you know, you got these girls, like Brittany said, they're super talented. Their skill set is like, some of these chicks hoop like dudes. You know what I'm saying? And their skill set is just off the chain. And when I talk about Juju Watkins, her ability to come down court, to give you that tween hezzy, that mid-range game, get to the, you know, get to the cup, put you in the ooh-wah-wee, get there, right hand, left hand.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark, her range, the Steph Curry range, where she can create the step back and pull up.
Right.
And then you go to Angel Reese. Like I said, her game is not fluid, but it's effective for what she does down in the low post. And her rebounding is second to none. And then you look at, you know, other players, these other skilled players like Fawali and stuff like that. These are shot makers. They're shot makers. They're skillful. And, you know, some of the moves that, you know, we look at the Euro step that Manu Ginobili created, and everybody tries to implement that into their game, which I thought that D Wade might have started that Euro step back in the days before, you know, Manu Ginobili started doing it. But you see how these girls are implementing the Euro step into their game. They're not just one-dimensional. They just can't go right. They can go left. They can get to the basket. They can rebound. They know how to pass. But like Brittany said, you said that with a passion. You got that off your chest. But I totally agree with you. Women's basketball got to get more notoriety.
Absolutely. Thank you, K-Sep, for that one. I love it. K-Walk, I hope you can hear us now. You back?
I can hear you guys. Yeah, I do apologize for that. I'm not going to take up too much of this time, but as far as women's basketball goes, Jay, thank you so much for introducing me. He's got a passion for this, and I've been following these ladies, and you know, I didn't, you know, I'm surprised in our thread that we have on and Never Had So Good that we didn't talk about it when it happened, immediately when it happened. We kind of talked about it after it happened, but nonetheless, as far as women's basketball goes, I'm all in. I'm all in, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have a team in college. I love, you know, Dawn. I'm going with Dawn Staley because of the fact of the matter was taking place this on Sunday. I'm a Dawn Staley, so I'm going to South Carolina. I love Caitlin Clark as well. Juju Watt, JJ Watt. I love her too. I don't know what you guys what led to this conversation, but I love college. I love women's basketball. Britt, you know, you and I are New York Liberty fans. So yeah, we're Liberty fans. So go Liberty. And as far as, and again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just coming back and joining the conversation. So I'm just going to go. If you guys talked about picking a team, did you guys talk about picking a team?
No, okay. It was mainly just if we feel that women's basketball is being appreciated enough. Or is it underappreciated?
Definitely not enough. And you, Jay, you had your show last night, and I kind of commented. I think Kobe Bryant was on the verge of promoting this women's sports, the basketball. You know, unfortunately, his timing passing. I think that MJ and LeBron, MJ meaning Michael Jordan, they have to step up, man. They're billionaires right now. They're billionaires, and they love Kobe Bryant. They respect Kobe Bryant. We saw what MJ did and what he spoke at his funeral. Let's if we want to honor Kobe Bryant's legacy, let's do this. Let's put some money into this league. Let's promote this league and get these ladies, you know, know them, get them a WNBA channel. Just get them a WNBA channel and promote where these ladies are going to be. I mean, where these games are going to be played, when and where these games are going to be played as well. And I'm challenging Jay, and I'm challenging you, Kay, and I'm challenging you, Britt. Let's do it for ourselves as well. Mm-hmm. Let's start this and promote where these games are going to win and where these games are going to be played as well.
Man, that was powerful, man. That was
know what, too, Britt? Like, one of the things I think the college game does well that the WNBA could take a page out of, like K-Walk said, like, I don't really have a college team, but you know the players, right? Yes, and I think that's what has made the NBA so successful, because they figured out, look, we're going to market our superstars, right? So in college basketball, you could say Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, Juju Watkins, and everybody knows who they are. The WNBA has to do a better job at saying, these are our 4 or 5 stars. Let's put their faces everywhere. Because right now I feel like it's the Aces versus the Liberty. It's not
right.
These are our stars. Let's put them everywhere. Come watch our stars play. So I think that would help the WNBA if they take a page out of the NBA's book and really put their stars on the forefront, and then people could follow stars. But hopefully some of that college momentum, like I said earlier, might transfer over.
Got you.
Yeah, I agree. I love that idea, Jay. I think it is important because those who don't watch it, I mean, most people know Asia Wilson, but it might be somebody who doesn't. They may know her team, the Aces, but they may not know her and how dominant she is.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait. I'm just putting this out there before we go on to break. Ooh, Angel Reese. I love Angel Reese. And I know I said this on this show before. K-Sap, I don't know if you heard this or not, but Angel Reese, she talks a lot in college basketball. That's her thing. But when she goes to the next level, now you got to face a Asia Wilson.
Oh yeah, she's been doing that all her life. She's been doing that from the playgrounds back in Baltimore to her high school days. That's just her grit. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before we go to break, like in the national championship game, that's just Angel Reese. You know what I'm saying? She's not going to back down from nothing. The gesture with the rings and stuff like that, getting in Caitlin Clark's face, that's just Angel Reese. At the same time, but like we said when we started the show about the big Cordoza, the 6'7" girl from South Carolina, she's not backing down from Angel Reese. You know what I'm saying? She's pushing her around and talking smack to her as well. But the one thing about Angel Reese, when Angel Reese is talking, people got to talk back to her. You know what I'm saying? But that gets Angel Reese going. You know what I'm saying? And the two small gestures and stuff like that. But that's just Angel Reese.
Yeah.
And I think that'll also help with the appreciation of women's basketball, because you heard those from back in the day. You had Larry Bird and Magic when they went up against each other. They would, Bird was a known trash talker. You had MJ against Isaiah Thomas and the bad boy Detroit Pistons going battling out, talking trash. Now we're getting that in women's basketball, and I think that'll bring a lot of attention to women's basketball. I know it's crazy to say that, but it is true. For some reason, that rivalry, if
I love
you could
that trash
feel it,
talking.
right? I love it too. Right, I love it too, and that's why I love so much about Angel Reese.
I was that type of player when I played. I was a trash talker, and if you go back before we go to break, if you go back and look back in the days where the NBA, they produced them VHS tapes where they was mic'd up talking smack.
Yeah.
You could hear them talking. You know what I'm saying? But that's the type of ball player I am. I take advantage. Once I see somebody that can't take it, I'm in your head now. I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
And I had to say this. I was an a-hole on the football field. I was an a-hole. Jay can attest to that. I was an a-hole. I'm just gonna wide receiver. I was. Jay can attest to that. I was, and you when you look back on your life and you do self-reflection, I was like, wow, I love football so much, but I was really I don't know. I'm just cleaning up for the kids. I hated myself looking back as a football player.
But that's how they played in the 70s.
But it's competitive.
You dog, really? Really? You gonna go there? Jay, I'm sitting there trying to get this young man look going on. You talking about the 70s?
Hey, and the reason why I say that, because of the introduction on some of your pictures, I said, oh man, he played back in the 70s.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow, Jay.
We got to fix those pictures, K-Walk. We got to fix those pictures.
What pictures?
All right, on y'all's countdown, we got some football pictures.
I guess that temple highlight, K-Walk, might have been a little grainy.
It was in black and white. It was in black and white.
It wasn't black and white. It was a little light red and light green. I don't know black and white. I get that. Okay.
But no. All right, guys. Yeah, I love the competitive nature, and we're seeing that in women's basketball, and I think that's will draw a lot more people to it as well. But all right, guys, we're gonna head into break. As always, I run over time. Thank you, Jay, for giving me the grace as you always do.
I don't got much tonight, so you're good.
As you always do. But when we come back, Jay's gonna take over, and we're gonna have more fun. Of course, talk more sports. But you guys are watching The Sideline Speaks with myself, Brittany Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker, and with our special guest, K-Sat from Simply Ball Dropping right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Media Network. We'll be right back.
CampLyman.com is an opportunity for my big boys to come get some work. Let's put it all together. We built from the ground up. Our cliche is it all starts up front. Once again, start, stance, hand placement, hand separation, get-offs, counter moves, a little bit of everything. Polish up those skills before your middle school or high school season began. Just come work on your craft. Once again, CampLyman.com.
You're inside Never Had It So Good Sports Radio with Princess Cooper, Tim Moore, David the Duck Riley, Jason Collins, Shoshana Cook, Brittany Jones, Travis McGee, Eric Scott, and Kevin Walker. We make it easy to talk sports.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the Sideline Speaks. Do me a favor, hit that like button if you're watching, hit that subscribe button. We are trying to grow this channel slowly but surely, so any support, we greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, we got about 25 minutes, so I want to try to squeeze in a few topics here, but before we have to wrap this thing up, so we'll kind of move through them a little bit quickly so we can get the 2 or 3 things here. But Britt, I thought you were going to bring this up earlier, so I'm going to jump on it because I know you put it in the thread. Saquon to the Eagles. Let's get everybody's thoughts on that signing. Do we like this for the Eagles? Do we like it for Saquon? How do we see this thing playing out going forward? K-Sap, I'll start with you. What'd you think about Saquon going to Philly?
I think it's a perfect fit. If you notice at the beginning of the year last year, how the Eagles came out and wanted to run the ball, make that a staple, right? DeAndre Swift, you saw what he did to Minnesota. He gashed us up and down the field. That's the type of football I like. When you putting you pad on pad, helmet on helmet, man on man, and we just moving that line. We moving up and down the field. So bringing in somebody like Saquon Barkley, what I'm saying, it's going to open up, the things that Jalen Hurts does. It takes the pressure off of Jalen Hurts as well, but it also opens up that passing game. You know what I'm saying? Antonio Brown, you still got to deal with him. You still got to deal with Brown. You still got to deal with Smith. You still got to deal with these guys, right? So bringing in Saquon Barkley, with that offensive line, I know they missing, I know Jason Kelce retired, but I think they'll shore that up. But bringing in Saquon Barkley, because he's a home run hitter. He can get the ball and he can take it to the house, right? Also, he's a threat coming out of the backfield catching the ball as well. So, but I just think that takes a little bit of pressure off of Jalen Hurts. But I think it's a perfect fit, man. I think that, if Sirianni can get this, ship back together because, it was a straight debacle last year.
Yeah.
They was in prime position to do some good things and they just kind of just sunk. But I think with the move of Saquon Barkley, I think everybody in the clubhouse is excited about that. But I think it's a perfect fit. And I know Britt is happy about that.
Yeah, I like it for Saquon because, like you said, it's going to be the best offensive line he's ever played behind, in my opinion. Coordinators aren't going to be able to tell their defense to say, all right, we only have to worry about Saquon because the Eagles have too many weapons. So I love it for Saquon. But K-Walk, he went to the Eagles, maybe the team that is the biggest threat to your 49ers in the NFC. So how do you feel about this signing?
So Saquon Barkley is the answer to the Eagles' questions. Really? Is he the guy? Is he the different? Like, all right, that's what I'm going with this, right? I'm just going with this.
Oh
right
my God!
What is Saquon Barkley? Is answer to the Eagles' problems right now? Really?
We didn't say he was the answer. We said it's a good fit.
It's a good fit, but what other things around that? I think it's something bigger than just Saquon. Not being there. Like you had Swift. You're on your third offensive and defensive coordinator in 3 years. You still got the same quarterback. What happened there? And I'm going to ask you this, Britt. Well, actually, no, this is a rhetorical question. I know because Britt going to take a little more time. So, with that being said, I just don't think that Saquon is the answer to their questions right now. I just don't. I think they have a lot to clean up in that organization, and I think that the common denominator right now is Sirianni. It's Sirianni. Is Sirianni that guy? Yeah, you brought in Fangio. Yeah, you brought in Kellen Moore. I get that. It's cute on paper. And then you bring in Saquon Barkley, and the Philly fans are saying, let's go. But 10-1, You started off 10-1. What happened after that? What was the difference in that? I have to ask that question. What happened there? Why did they taper off? It's more than just play.
They stopped running the ball.
Okay, then they stopped running the ball.
So, K-Walk, just for the record, before I go to Britt, are you saying Saquon does not make the Eagles any better? I just want to be clear with what you're saying. He doesn't make them better.
Yeah, it does. Okay. That definitely does not. It does not make them better. He doesn't make them better. So with all that being said, it's cute. Again, it's cute, and I like it on paper. Ladies and gentlemen. But they got a lot of other stuff to clean up. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about in-house stuff because of the fact of the matter is,
Brittany looks disgusted.
Yeah, I don't care because I'm just tired of hearing fans. I'm tired of hearing the Eagles fans saying, "Oh, we got Saquon Barkley." And my oldest son is a diehard.
He just sounds like a 49ers guy, but go ahead.
I don't care about the 49ers. We say what we did. We say when we were healthy. But anyway, nonetheless, y'all, I'm tired of hearing these Eagle fans saying, "Let's go. We got Saquon Barkley." Like that's the difference. Go ahead, Jay.
Britt, go ahead. Talk to me. How'd you feel about it? Or go at K-Walk, whatever you want to do.
I don't need to go at K-Walk.
Yeah, you don't need to. Exactly.
But if you don't think Saquon helps, you're out of your mind. Literally, you're out of your mind, in my opinion. First of all, DeAndre Swift was not a 3-down back. That's first and foremost. Not at all. He does not block whatsoever. And last year, even watching the film where he did run, he was missing wide open holes. So, and I love DeAndre Swift. I was willing to re-sign DeAndre Swift. I think the most important thing was they got a competent coordinator that knows what he's doing and will call the correct plays. So I think that's the biggest thing here, because I think that was a big issue last year as well. And then Jeffrey Lurie, basically, they're giving Nick Sirianni. So K-Walk is right about Nick Sirianni. They're giving Nick Sirianni another chance. Yeah. But basically, I guess it's this new thing where he's basically going to be like the CEO of the team. And they're going to allow Kellen Moore run the offense and Vic Fangio run the defense. And I think that's one of the reasons why they was willing to pay so much for Saquon Barkley. But, I mean, Saquon Barkley could do it all when he's healthy.
Hell,
and like you guys said, okay, I don't know what the laughing is, K-Walk.
Because
Saquon
the fact of the matter is the same guys you were trashing last year and the year before, you're praising now.
Trashing.
First of all, you guys were saying.
No, I trashed the Giants. I always said I
love
Saquon.
trashing the health or lack thereof.
What are you talking about?
Except no, trashing the health. Okay.
Who was trashing Saquon? The only person on this live that trashed Saquon was probably you, because you don't like him to be compared to Christian McCaffrey. And I think they're both fantastic running backs. Don't get me started up in here.
Jason, see what I started, man? See what I started?
Yeah, no, but that's a good thing. Because of the fact of the matter, and Kellen Moore, who used to be the offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, you were trashing him. Now they're your guys on your team. Now you love him.
No, I never trashed Kellen Moore. I've always gave him credit for doing what he did with the Dallas Cowboys. I trashed Mike McCarthy. I trashed Dak Prescott. That's what I trashed. I trashed the Cowboys as an organization. I've never trashed Kellen Moore. What are you talking about?
So this is
tape up.
I definitely think I think if you add a player like Saquon Barkley to your roster, I think that makes you better. Like K-Walk, I think that has to make them better.
It makes them better.
You're adding a dynamic runner. You're adding a guy that can catch the ball out the backfield.
Who can't stay healthy?
Yeah, and that was my caveat. Saquon, and you know I said this when he was drafted out of Penn State. I said
stay healthy.
The one thing I always say about Saquon is he's played 1 year in the NFL fully healthy. Every other season he's been hurt at some time or another. So with him, it's not really a matter of if, it's like when is it going to happen. So I K-Walk, I'm with you. That's a legit concern. But I think if this guy is on the field, he makes your offense better.
He makes the offense better.
I didn't say
and I think he's been running behind.
He's not going to make them a contender, though.
And I
been
think
a
he's been running
contender.
behind a really bad offensive line in New
Not
York.
last year.
The last 2, well, they fizzled off, but they've been a
All
contender.
right, so that's not
But
contending.
hold on, K-Walk.
If they
Take a look at
fizzled
this. Saquon Barkley with his injuries in New York, right? Look at their offensive line, right? Now you coming over to the Philadelphia Eagles, man, with
And they
a
lost
better
Jason
offensive
Kelce.
line.
And they lost
but they
Jason
lost.
Kelce.
They lost.
They
Jason
still got
Kelce.
Jeff Stoutland. We're not concerned
Exactly.
about that.
All right,
But
I
the
got
thing
to
about
prove
it is,
that to me.
Like Jason said, it's about the health. But when Saquon Barkley is healthy, he's probably
when is that?
Well, I mean, he was healthy last year. You know what I'm saying? He was healthy. So coming into this year,
How many games did he miss last year?
I think it was 6. Was it 6?
6?
6 or 7?
That's almost a third of the season. Come on now.
But I'm just saying. But
All right,
at
go
the
ahead,
time,
go ahead,
but he finished the season off. He finished the season off strong, right? Now going into training camp, getting his body back together. You know, getting healthy, going into training camp.
He does that every
understand
year. It still
But
gets hurt.
see, but I feel like Brittany in this situation. You're saying that because you're a 49ers fan,
Right.
I don't care about it. That doesn't mean anything to me.
But
the
that's what it
Eagles
sounds
don't
like.
mean anything to 49ers.
Because here's the thing. CMC, we were saying the same things about CMC
Injury prone.
prior to him. He was injury prone.
Okay.
When he was the
So
best
what does that have to
player.
do with me being a
Wait a minute,
49er fan?
Let me finish.
No,
K-Walk.
it has nothing to do with the
No,
49ers.
let me finish.
No,
It
no,
does have
no.
to do something.
Come on now.
Because when he was with the Panthers, he was injury prone. He had to do everything on the field. As soon as he gets to the 49ers, he's all world. We already
Why
knew
are you?
his
I'm
talent
not
was.
talking as a 49er fan.
It's a similar situation, is what we're trying to say. Yes, Saquon is
How
injury
so?
prone, but this might be a different situation for him. It's a better offensive line. It's a better overall offense. He does not have to do everything, which can actually result in injury. And the turf is trash. So we all know that. So the same thing that CMC does for you, Saquon can do for the Eagles. It's okay.
How do you bring
Now,
CMC into the
do
conversation?
I still think they have things, because it's a similar situation is what I'm trying to say. Listen to what I'm trying to say. Now, do the Eagles still have things to improve upon? Absolutely. They got to get that defense right. They're not going to probably go anywhere without that defense being right. They got to get a linebacker and some safeties. That's why they had to sign CJGJ today. So, but yes, Saquon overall with his talent, if he is able to maintain his health, will help this Eagles offense get even better. And he does help Jalen Hurts. He takes the pressure off of Jalen Hurts. And the main thing is he's a blocking running back. So he'll help. The main issue that they had last year was with that blitz. And that's all I'm going to say. Conversation. Move on.
But K-Wall, you got to take in consideration he playing in NFC East, man. Come on now.
So what does that mean, though? Well, I mean, yeah, exactly.
But when you're talking about not being a contender, you know, they're going to contend because they're in the NFC East.
Who is that? You talking about the Eagles or being a contender?
Yeah, the Eagles.
And the NFC East, though, not the NFC as a whole.
In the NFC as a whole, they contenders in the NFC. But you know, all you got to do is win. All you got to do is win your division. So let me ask you this question, K-Walk. So would you take the Eagles right now, constructively, the way they constructed right now, over the Dallas Cowboys?
No, because the fact of the matter is Dallas Cowboys don't have a running back. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're better than the Lions or better than the 49ers.
You missed what I said. You missed what I said. I said, would you take the Philadelphia Eagles, constructed as they are right now after they got Saquon Barkley, would you take them over the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East?
Yeah, but what are you saying about the Dallas Cowboys,
but listen, all you have to do is win your division to be in the playoffs. Anything can happen in the playoffs.
All right,
you saw what Green Bay did to Dallas when they came in.
I get that. All right, so they'll be a playoff team. So at best, they'll be a playoff team.
So you're not saying they're contenders in the NFC?
Yeah. The NFC East, yes. Anyone could be
as a whole, but you're saying they're not contenders in the NFC?
No, absolutely not. No,
oh yeah, he's tripping.
Jay, come on. Am I? Come on, Jay. Am I? With the 49ers, the way the 49ers?
Okay,
with
that's one team. You're a contender. The Eagles can't be a contender neither.
Let me ask you this.
Hey, let me ask you Eagles fans this. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That was last year. So what? We already know that the Eagles fell off a cliff last year. They still have talent.
Go ahead.
They still have a lot of talent with better coaching. With better coaching. You sound like a Niners fan. I'm sorry. You do. Go ahead, Jay. Go.
That's not a bad thing to do. That's not a bad thing to do considering we were in the Super Bowl.
We're here to be truthful, analyze the whole entire situation, and you sound like a fan.
All right,
go ahead, Jay.
I think I don't know. I think K-Walk did say that Saquon makes them better. You just don't think it puts them over the top. Am I correct on that?
That's exactly what I said, Jay.
Okay. All right. So we got a little bit of closure there. All right, let's look. We got 10 minutes now. Let me slip this one in before we gotta go.
Yeah, K-Walk. Yeah.
Justin Fields, guys. He's been the hot name for the last couple weeks. Nothing has happened these last 24, 48 hours. Teams have been grabbing quarterbacks left and right. Looks like Justin Fields is either going to be in Chicago, maybe the Raiders. I don't know, but it feels like it's starting to trend towards maybe he's going to be the odd man out in this quarterback carousel. K-Sap, where do you see Justin Fields when the season kicks off in September? Where will Justin Fields be playing?
I still think he'll be in Chicago because I'm looking at some of these organizations, man. I don't think they really sold on Justin Fields, man. Because, like I said, with the quarterback carousel, you taking like say for instance, you took a 36-year-old injured quarterback and Kirk Cousins, signed him to 4 years, $180 million, $100 million guaranteed, and you got a young guy that just came into the league that got a lot of potential and got a lot of upside, and he's the odd man out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And as a Minnesota Vikings fan, I was telling my son, I would even like for Minnesota to even try to go after Justin Fields. But you know what I'm saying? We giving Sam Darnold a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that saying? If I'm Justin Fields, what should I be thinking? Should I be thinking that, a lot of people are not sold on me? You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is the quarterback market for all these quarterbacks, and then the draft is coming up, right? And you got these potential teams talking about drafting these quarterbacks. So if I'm Justin Fields, man, I'm saying to myself, like, hey, what can I do? You know what I'm saying? And to your question is, if he don't make a move in the next, I say by the end of this week, going into the weekend, he's going to find himself back in Chicago, and he just got to deal with it.
Yeah. I heard one GM quote that they kind of viewed Justin Fields and Sam Darnold in the same light, which it was shocking to me. But that's how some of these guys are looking at the situation. But K-Walk, were you surprised that there's been no movement on Fields yet, or do you think maybe something's coming down the road?
I am surprised because of the fact of the matter is I think I don't know why people are so down on Justin Fields. I just don't get it. When you talk about the Chicago Bears, maybe they're trying to downplay. I don't know what their plan is because they have 2 early first round picks. They have Justin Fields where everybody's talking about he's a good quarterback, a decent quarterback. I don't know what label I would put him. If you give me the title, I have to give him a title. I would say he's a really good quarterback who can help your team. He has the arm, he has the legs, obviously. And when you see the addition of DJ Moore, when you give weapons around him, he's going to be a viable quarterback. So yeah, Jay, I am surprised that he's not getting that look, man. I don't know what it is. Maybe teams are out there saying, well, we'll downplay it. We'll just well, no one's asking for him. Give me we'll give you a 3rd round pick, we'll give you a 4th round pick, maybe it's something like that. You know what I mean? And then that they know the value, the true value in Justin Fields. But I say keep him, man. I say keep him. You got all those weapons. You got the weapons around him right now, and you have the picks as well.
Yeah.
Britt, what are your thoughts on Fields?
I don't know, guys. Like I can't put my finger on it, my hand on it. Like I still think he has some talent. I just think when he went to Chicago, they didn't put him in the best position to be successful whatsoever with the players surrounding him, the coaches surrounding him. And it just felt like they drafted him for him to fail, which I don't think is fair. It's right. He's still a young kid. He's still trying to learn this game. I still think they should try to trade him. It's unfortunate because Jay, you kind of alluded to how other GMs and executives are looking at him. And a lot of them are saying backup. You know, they're going to trade for him as a backup. And for some reason, these Eagles always end up in the daggone trade rumors because he's been linked to Justin Fields to become a backup. So they're looking for a backup quarterback right now because Marcus Mariota left. I think he went to the Commanders. So they need a backup. I don't know if I personally like that. I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but I don't know if I personally like it.
But that's a good backup, though. That's a good backup.
It is. It's a great
Facts.
backup, but I
Yeah.
just feel like he still has an opportunity if he gets in the right system to be that starter, and I think he deserves.
But what is that system, though?
That potential.
What would
Yeah,
that
right.
system be?
Great question.
Right. You know.
Yeah,
what?
if I'm Justin Fields, I'm not ready to sit to be a backup. Like I'm gonna fight
Right.
that as much as I can. Maybe go to the Raiders. I think he can play. I really do. And I was kind of rooting for him to get a fresh start somewhere. But I kind of wanted him to come to Atlanta because I thought that would have been a perfect fit for him. But obviously, they decided to go with Kirk Cousins.
I take him.
But I don't know. He's so young. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be ready to say I'm a backup just yet. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how that thing plays.
KSAP, it's funny you said that because Justin Jefferson came out and said he wants Justin Fields as his starter.
I saw that interview.
He said, "I'll take Justin Fields over here."
That
So
could be a good fit for him.
there's a lot of potential there. I just think he needs the right coaching staff and the right
system.
Right system
Exactly.
around him.
You know what?
And I think
I
Justin
love that
Jefferson would be
question.
perfect receiver for him.
Somebody answer that question, please.
But he played at Ohio State. Like he played in like a pro style play action passing game type system. So I but
See,
but a lot of
said
those guys were running wide open too.
You
So
said
it's a
something
little
key,
bit
Jason.
different.
You said something key. Ohio State. Now we see what these Ohio State quarterbacks have done in the NFL, and you see what these organizations think about these Ohio State quarterbacks, man.
Yeah,
CJ Stroud might be changing that though.
Yeah, CJ Stroud is
bucking
he's
the
one
trend,
exceptional.
but you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Historically, they have
exactly.
not been good.
But listen, look at the system that CJ Stroud's in. He's not under no pressure at all.
Yeah.
And he's
look
out
at
there
the
playing
coaching
freely.
staff.
And the coaching staff, you bringing in
Right.
D'Amico Ryan, you know what I'm saying? And you know, when Tank Dell went down, man, that was one of his best receivers.
Yeah,
But at the,
when
but
that
at the
hurt,
same
yeah.
time, that hurt. But at
Yeah.
the same time, you look at it now with CJ Stroud, you know, I don't mean to, you know, change the topic, but with CJ
Right.
Stroud, now you brought in a Joe Mixon. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now
Yeah.
you got a great running back now. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to help CJ Stroud out. But
Yeah.
back to Justin Fields, what Brittany said, I did see that interview when Justin Jefferson was talking about he would want Justin Fields to be his starting quarterback because Kurt is going. I don't think Sam Darnold's the answer. Like I said, we talked about
He's a
Justin
bridge
Fields.
quarterback.
Right.
I would love to see if we could pull that off, make a trade for him or something like that to bring Justin Fields in. I would be satisfied. But right now, as a Minnesota Vikings fan, Sam Darnold is not moving the needle.
No, not at all. Not
Yeah,
at all.
I agree. But if he does stay in Chicago, they need to get Marvin Harrison Jr. They're right. I think they right up there, right? Don't they have the number 1 pick or
But they
number 2
talking
pick?
about trading all these picks, though. They
Yeah,
talking
they-
about trading these picks, man. I don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, see, they just
Yeah.
don't. They don't want to put him in the best position at all. I don't. For some reason, I don't know why. I'm like, why draft a young man if this is the direction that you was gonna go in? I'm pretty sure his first year in Chicago, I felt like they didn't like him. His very first year, and I don't know. It's just time.
It's the
Trade him.
coaching. It's the coaching.
Trade
It's the
him,
Well,
let
you
him
coaching.
go
saw, what,
somewhere
you saw what San Francisco did to Trey Lance. Talk about that, K-Walk.
What about it? What they do with him? They missed out on it. They missed out on it. They messed up. But what did they do right though? They got Brock Purdy.
So you think
Talk about that,
Purdy's you think you think Brock Purdy's the answer?
Bro, are you?
No, I'm just
really
asking the question. I'm just asking the question. It's yes or no. You ain't got to delve into it. Just say yes or no.
Let me.
I need to breathe.
Back.
I'm saying that.
I'm come back.
Just
Do you
answer
think
the
he's the
question.
answer? Do you think he's the answer?
Don't do that. Don't try to
Don't
try
do
to
that,
spin
because
it. No,
I'm showing
I'm
it.
asking you a question. You're a San Francisco fan. I'm asking you the question. Do you think
man.
Brock Purdy's the answer?
Absolutely. I mean, come on, man. We're one play away
that's-
from being that.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude,
Y'all-
how do
y'all
you
was
feel
what?
about it?
Y'all was what? Y'all
One play away from winning the Super Bowl.
what was that play?
There's a muff punt. You look back and see how the
I'll
kids
give you that.
you scored
I'll
their
give you
first.
that.
Yeah,
I'll
thank
give you that.
And I'm
I'll
dropping
give
the
you
mic.
that.
Go ahead.
I'll give you that. There's
I
no
don't-
reason to drop the mic, but but
give me that.
so
'Cause
when
I
you
know what I
ask me
know.
the question, do I think Brock Purdy's the answer?
Yeah. God dang right he is.
That's the only answer y'all have right now.
You goddamn what you mean the only answer?
Well,
That's
how
the
about
only
this?
answer y'all have right now.
This is what I'll
Sam
say.
Gardner, you got our backup right now as your answer.
This
So,
is
I mean, how you
this
feel?
is what he got you on that one. He got you on that one.
I do. That's
you
what I
on
do.
But this is what I'll say pertaining to Brock Purdy. within the next year, I believe next year, right? They gotta pay him. So we'll see what happens there.
We take care of him.
We'll see if that makes him the answer or not. So there you go.
All right, y'all. We got to wrap this thing up. But I know a couple people might have a rant that they just have to get off their chest before we close out. So every week, KSAP, we give everybody a minute. They use 1 minute and you get cut off to just say whatever's on your mind, whatever's on your heart. We call it our rant segment. We're up against the clock. So I'm gonna forgo mine tonight. I'm not gonna say anything, but we're not
gonna get cut off, Jay. We're not gonna get cut off.
I can see it. I can see it in K Walk's eyes. He's raring to go tonight with a rant. So I'm gonna start with K Walk and see where this thing goes. K Walk, the floor is yours.
Well, Jay, I wasn't gonna. Go ahead, Brett. I'm sorry.
Please tell me it's not about the Eagles.
Oh no, I wasn't even gonna go.
Oh, thank God. Okay, go ahead.
It is. You're right. No. Kay is right. I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins, but actually, I was going to go with Kirk Cousins as who's balling though, not a rant though. So with that being said, I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins tonight, man. I'm just appreciating everything that this guy has done. I'm looking at my notes here, ladies and gentlemen. So excuse me right now.
You got to take notes.
Yeah, no, I have to, because when we talk about it, because I got to make sure. Kirk Cousins has done an excellent job of manipulating the way you get paid in the NFL. I'm talking about franchise tags after franchise tags after franchise tags. This guy's got I don't know how many contracts that he's got, but his most recent one, 4 years. $100 million guaranteed. So I'm gonna keep it smooth. I was gonna go with he's been balling. This is who's been balling and who's ranting and a rant as well. So with that being said, Kirk Cousins is my guy tonight, man. And I'm look, hey, balling.
I got you, K Walk. I got you tonight. I got you, K Walk. You like that? You like that? I got you.
He had that one set up. That was good, K Walk.
That was good stuff. That was good stuff.
I
got to give you that.
I was not expecting that.
I know.
Good stuff.
My question is, what you really using that for? I'm just playing.
I ain't allowed to go out here.
K-Walk ain't going nowhere.
That was a good one.
He's in bed by 10:30 every night. I was going to do a Saquon Barkley rant, but I'm going to forgo that tonight. Britt, I'm going to come to you. You got something prepared for us tonight? What you got?
Oh, you didn't like the fact he didn't go to the Cowboys. They ain't got no money, man. Get their money up.
Cool with
K-Walk, do that thing again. Tell them get Cowboys get their money up.
I ran out.
I'm cool with Saquon.
You got nothing left like the Cowboys. You said I'm next. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're up, Britt. Go for it.
My bad. Look, I'm gonna make mine short, sweet, and simple. And my rant is about the fight that happened at the South Carolina LSU, more specifically the I think it was Flau'jae's brother came running out on the court. What are you going to do? What you going to fight a woman? Yeah. I know you're not that much of a punk. Are you really a punk like that? I really hope not. I got to give kudos to the security team who tracked him down real quick. But that was a sucker move. Like, what are you going to do? I understand protecting your family, but you got to understand that's going to create retaliation. You're going to run out. They got family in the stands as well. So now they're going to try to run out. Sit your butt in the stands and just watch the game and allow the people who are authorized to be on the court break that up and handle that situation. Yeah. That's all I got to say. Come on, man.
Somebody said he got arrested shortly after that.
Got arrested. Very bad look. He's probably going to be banned from all NCAA games going forward. So, I mean, he messed up on all accounts.
They said he hurt somebody at the scores table when he
stepped on somebody's hand or pushed their head, just something like that. And look, and in Greenville, South Carolina, they're gonna grab you up real quick. So you just can't do something like that. You just can't do it. K-Sap, man, I know you're new, but if you got something you want to get off your chest or anything you want to fire off for 60 seconds, man, the floor is yours.
I'm gonna fire this off, man. I'm gonna flip the page on you. I'm gonna go to the NBA, man, and I'm gonna speak to some of these internet casuals, right? This stuff about LeBron James, right? These accusations that people want to create their content off of the Labalco and things like that. trying to undermine everything that LeBron has done through his luxurious 21-year career. You got these internet casuals on there spinning their own narrative. They took what Kevin Garnett said. Me personally, I thought he said it in jest, because the way he asked Paul Pierce the question, you think Bronny can, stop his dad? You think Brian can stop Bronny from getting the bucket? And then Kevin Garnett goes on to say, "Oh, you seen his daddy? He on that balcony, that new juice." I thought he said it in jest, in a jokingly way. That's why mainstream media hasn't picked it up. And then you got these internet casuals on there sparing their narrative about, LeBron's on juice. How can he be doing this for 21 years and stuff like that? So just, a message to all these internet casuals. I know y'all out there cooning for clicks and stuff like that, creating content off of LeBron James' name, almost like Skip Bayless and things like that. But I just wanted to put that out there, man. I mean, if you can't be the main source on your channel to drive content in a positive way instead of just putting these false narratives out there, then, YouTube is not for you. Now, I will say in the Ballin aspect, I don't want to say this because I'm not a fan of him. D'Angelo Russell. I got to give D'Angelo Russell his props. He's been balling in these last 20 games ever since he's been put back in the starting lineup. I know he's averaging over 20 points a game. 6 assists, 3 rebounds, but he's shooting 41% from 3. I don't know what he said to Darvin Ham when he got back in that starting lineup, but right now, D'Angelo Russell is balling. But the only thing I will say before I close it out, before I drop the mic, is D'Angelo, I don't care what you do in the regular season, you got to come to play in the playoffs. We saw what you did in Denver last year. If you would have averaged at least 10 points a game, the Lakers would have went on off to the championship, but you averaged a measly 6 points in the Western Conference Finals. So I don't care what you're doing in the regular season. Do it for the Lakers in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's
good stuff.
Absolutely.
Good stuff right there. Hey, off topic, KSAP, and we might have to have you back to debate it one day, but who's your GOAT?
He just said it.
Hey, no, I didn't say. See,
you kind of alluded.
Don't do that. Don't do that, KSAP. Don't do that.
Okay, you are.
My GOAT is Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But listen.
Uh-oh.
LeBron James can be arguably the GOAT as well. I mean, it's a debate. I mean, you got some wiggle room in there. It's all kinds of variables. But I go back to what Gilbert Arenas said. What was the criteria to be the GOAT? They labeled Michael Jordan the GOAT before he even won a championship. You see what I'm saying? Because he had 2 MVPs. Now, not to put LeBron James in that GOAT category because of the fact what he said, if he didn't go to Miami and didn't have them championships, he would still be the dominant player that he was, less championships. But at the same time, that argument can be there for Mike, LeBron, and Kobe.
And
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd throw Kareem in there too.
Exactly. So what is your criteria of a GOAT?
That's always been my question.
What is the criteria?
Always been my question.
Yeah.
Because they labeled Michael Jordan the best there ever was in an article that was published in 1989.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I grew up watching Michael Jordan. I grew up watching Kareem. I grew up watching these guys. You know what I'm saying? So if your criteria is the rings, then Bill Russell's the GOAT. Why come Kareem can't be the GOAT? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they gave Jerry West the logo. He's won 1 championship.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, but as when y'all say the GOAT debate, you can argue this every day of the week.
Yeah.
We don't, your GOAT could be Michael Jordan. Your GOAT could be Kobe Bryant. My GOAT could be Michael Jordan. Your GOAT could be LeBron
Kevin
James.
Durant.
Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. Everybody can be in that criteria, but I just don't think there's one standalone GOAT. But if you say, because I grew up watching Michael Jordan was my favorite basketball player. Then my next favorite basketball player is Allen Iverson. So I'll just keep it that way.
Okay.
I got LeBron James as my
Lord.
Yeah, I'm an Allen Iverson dude.
Appreciation is what I'm talking about.
I was in Virginia when Allen Iverson was playing at Bethel High School.
Okay.
I went to Allen Iverson's games. I met Allen Iverson. I knew his younger sister, Brandy. I know the whole ordeal.
Oh, Lord, Brett. Calm down, Brett.
You know what I'm saying? Allen Iverson is my guy. You know what I'm saying? Bubba Chuck is my guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Chuck. Oh,
Bubba Chuck is my guy.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying? And like in my sneaker catalog, only pairs of sneakers I own is Michael Jordan's, Allen Iverson's, and LeBron James. That's the only sneakers I rock.
Well, I gotta take off LeBron, but I got Michael and AI.
Brittany, you don't like LeBron?
Sneakers.
Oh, okay.
Sneakers.
Well, then, Brittany, let me ask you a question. Who's your GOAT?
MJ. MJ is my GOAT.
So
for sure.
I think you might be a Kobe. I think you're a Kobe Bryant fan too.
I am.
We're all a Kobe fan. We gotta be.
I am.
So who you got as your number 2?
Kobe.
Probably Kobe. Because he's the next thing to Michael Jordan. Literally the next thing to Michael Jordan.
Okay, you say that in a sense because when you look at Michael Jordan, you look at Kobe Bryant, you look at the persona, you look at the 6'6", 6'7", 212, 208 pound, the way you walk, the way your swagger is, the way your build is, the way your mannerism is, the way you constructed your game after Michael Jordan, right? I can understand because Michael Jordan is your GOAT. Yeah, because Michael Jordan's your GOAT. So you're comparing Kobe to Mike because you see Kobe in Mike, right?
Right. Exactly.
So, but the thing about it is with LeBron James, who can you say that even resembles anything like a LeBron James?
He's one of one. I mean, there's no question LeBron is one of one.
So I think that's why a lot of people have Kobe Bryant number 2 because that was the silhouette of Mike.
Great point.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah, and you're right, but I do think Kobe did take it a step further as he gotten older and he got smarter in the game. So number 8, right? You know, we started to see a lot of resemblance of MJ, but number 24 took it to the next step, right?
When you say
I
next
love
step,
LeBron,
like in what sense?
just like smart wise on a court, just smarts with the Lakers, just overall game. He just took it. 24 and 8 are 2 different players. 8 was the more athletic, I'm a score on you type. 24 was a combination of that, but he just took it to that smarts, and then he also lasted a little bit longer. But I love LeBron, right? It's just certain things that LeBron did that I just can't get with. And I think that's and I can't get past it. For instance, at the end of the game, and it might be a smart IQ move by LeBron, but to me, if you're the pure competitor, if you're the best on this team, MJ and Kobe had that. Give me the ball, I'm winning this game. LeBron just had that. Nah, D-Wade, you take it.
No. I don't. I think you're missing the concept. I understand what you're saying. But when you're talking about the end of the game, I understand what you're saying. Have that, that Mamba mentality that Kobe, displayed, and that Jordan with that killer instinct. But there's different ways at the end of the game of being a killer. LeBron does LeBron does have the ball, but he makes the best basketball play available. And if you go back to when LeBron was coming up the AAU days, there was one game that he played, and at halftime, LeBron had like 2 points, but he had like 13 assists and 7 rebounds. His team was up like 15 points, and the guy asked him, was like, "Well, you're not scoring the ball." He said, "Man, we up 16 points. I got 13 assists. I got my team involved, right?" So LeBron's mindset is different from Kobe and Mike. LeBron coming up, he always relegated to getting his team involved, the team success. You know what I'm saying?
And I respect that.
And let me ask you this, Kate. Let me ask you this. So with that being said, what is your criteria of being the GOAT?
My criteria of being the GOAT, it'll be hard to answer that right off because I don't think there is a criteria of being the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? What I don't do, I don't minimize Michael Jordan's style of play to big up LeBron. I don't minimize Kobe's style of play to big up LeBron. They're going to fall the way they fall. Like I stated earlier, Michael Jordan is my guy. He's my top tier favorite player, right? But where I differ from you guys is I would throw LeBron number 2 over Kobe, but it's debatable. You see what I'm saying? It's debatable.
I don't understand why, because Kobe plays defense. Go ahead, Jay.
Okay, I understand when y'all talking about all aspects of the game.
We have to.
But ever since 2012, Kobe wasn't competing for championships all the way up until he retired, right? LeBron James is still in the league competing for championships in 21 years. Kobe played 20 years. Right? You cannot knock LeBron for the longevity, for the time that he's been in the league, accomplishing what he's accomplishing, getting all these goals. When LeBron James came into the league, he was known as a pass-first guy. When you talk about all these scores, right? LeBron James is 40,000 points in, but people will minimize that because the longevity, 21 years. Kobe played 20 years, 32,000 points, right?
What team?
What you
How
mean?
many teams? How many teams did Kobe play for?
Kobe played for one team.
Yeah. How many did Mike play for?
Mike played for
two.
two.
Wizards.
Yeah, he
how
played
many
for
did
two.
LeBron play for?
He played for 4, right?
Yeah, all right.
But
I'm
you
saying
got but listen,
he's champion. Go ahead,
but this is what the common denominator is, what y'all guys might not realize is when LeBron James came into the league, who was LeBron James' coach? When Kobe Bryant came into the league, Phil Jackson was the man, right?
No. Yeah,
a couple years later,
Phil Jackson was the man. He got drafted 13 to Charlotte, and Charlotte traded him. Right? Mike came in with Doug Collins, right? Well, first he came in with Hubie Brown. Then he came with Doug Collins, right? But listen, Michael Jordan did not start winning until Phil Jackson got there when Jerry Reinsdorf built that organization and he gave him a Hall of Fame coach, right? So we just can't skip by the 8 years that Michael Jordan was bounced out of the playoffs, right? Getting swept in the first round.
Mike stayed there, though. But Mike stayed there and allowed those guys to come to him, whereas LeBron chased those guys.
I don't think he chased it. Cleveland as an organization.
He collaborated with him. He collaborated with him.
Cleveland as an organization, but hold up. Cleveland as an organization was not bringing that help to LeBron James. You go back and look at that. You go back and look at that free agent class in 2010, right? You go back, look at the list of guys that was on that free agency class, right? You had Joe Johnson, you had Dirk Nowitzki, you had D Wade, you had Chris Bosh, you had Carlos Boozer, you had all these other people. Now just think, but listen, just think if D Wade and Chris Bosh would have came to Cleveland, would they won a championship in Cleveland?
Don't know, but the fact of the matter, he
what
collaborated.
You mean you don't know?
Well, I don't know because it didn't happen. So I don't know.
I know, but it's the same thing as him going to Miami, teaming
up
with
what did
D
Mike
Wade.
do? So what did Mike do differently? He stayed at home and allowed Scottie Pippen and one free agent, a real free agent, and Dennis Rodman, a rebounder.
But listen, the organization, Jerry Reinsdorf. Have you looked at that Jerry Reinsdorf story?
Yes,
on how he built that. And that was a great, and he was probably one of the greatest general managers of all time. But listen, they built within, right? Cleveland was not doing that. Cleveland wasn't doing that. That's all I'm saying.
I think for me,
they didn't win multiple though. They only won one though. With that,
he came back home and won it.
1-1.
But you look when he left. Cleveland was in shambles. He came.
Yeah, I'm not saying LeBron shouldn't be in the conversation. I'm not saying he's a great player. He's not a great player.
Never said that.
I'm saying he's just not the GOAT. He should be in the GOAT conversation.
Well, I think all of us
shouldn't be in the GOAT conversation.
I mean, well, let me retract that. Yeah, you're right.
That's all I'm saying. It could be. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm not saying that y'all have to say that he's the GOAT. I'm just thinking when you get into a debate, LeBron James' name is going to come up.
But then, he said you kind of. I mean, he's. I mean, Mike is my GOAT, but LeBron has moved up to my number 2, or at least him and Kareem are tied at number 2 for me. So I mean, I've put LeBron past Kobe at this point.
That's all I'm saying.
But like when you talk about,
and that's respectable. There's nothing wrong with that. Kobe's still my number 2.
Yeah,
I think the criteria for me. I think the criteria is. I think it's a combination of championships. Eye test, offense, defense. And then I think there's like a certain intangible thing that the GOAT has. Like, I don't know that you can put your finger on it, but when you see it, you know it. And I think for me,
and that's the hard thing that people pinpoint
that's where Mike has the edge. There's an intangible about Mike that the other guys just don't have for me, and that's why he's ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, and Jay, for me, that's why I picked Kobe in front of LeBron. There's nothing wrong with it. I didn't say LeBron wasn't a GOAT wasn't in a GOAT conversation. I just think on my list, Kobe's right behind MJ.
Philly sticks with Philly.
And like we said, it's argued. Like you could argue the point. Like you could argue the point for Kobe. Somebody might disagree, but no one's going to call you crazy for having Kobe ahead of LeBron.
Exactly. And I respect that. But what I'm trying to say is you see people that try to undermine what LeBron James does just to keep him down and not trying to elevate him over the people that they support, right?
Yeah, I'm not trying to do that.
That's one thing I won't do.
K-Walk, where's LeBron on your short list, K-Walk? 3,
LeBron,
4, 5.
I have LeBron 5. I have LeBron.
Who do you have
Who's
ahead
your
of
Who's
him?
your 5?
I have. Oh my God, I lost my what you call. I have obviously MJ. I have Magic at 2. What'd you
Magic
say?
at 2.
What'd you say, Brett? I didn't catch
I
what
said
you
we are way over time, but let's go.
Yeah, all right, we good.
We're
we
gonna
good.
wrap it up right after this.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
go ahead, K.
yeah.
I'm
sorry.
Magic at 2.
Magic at 2. LeBron at 3. I have.
Wait, I thought you said LeBron was 5.
Yeah. No, I said LeBron. I'm LeBron at. I do have LeBron 5. I'm trying to think who my 3
KG.
is.
Kareem.
No. Oh my God, I don't have it in
Dream?
front of me, guys. Yeah, the Dream. There you go, Jay. You know me. You know me.
Whoa.
So I have MJ. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have MJ. I have Magic. I have Kobe. And I have Magic, and then I have LeBron at 5. Thank you, Jay.
So
You got
MJ.
Elijah Wan in there?
Yeah, I do.
I've never heard nobody really even state a claim for
got
Elijah
to.
Wan. I respect that. I respect it.
You got to.
Who's your top 5, Britt?
Man, I probably changed my top at least after the first 2. I probably change it every other day.
Why? Because you got a criteria then, right?
Yeah,
Give us
but
5,
overall,
Britt. Give us a
criteria. But if
5,
I give you
Britt.
5, I'm gonna say Cheryl Miller. No, I'm just playing. I was going to the women's side. But no, MJ 1, Kobe 2. I gotta put Kareem up there. Kareem has to go up there, in my opinion.
Well, you just name them off. You said Mike
3.
1, Kobe 2.
I gotta think of them. Like you just coming at me off the top of the dome. So Mike 1, Kobe 2, Kareem 3.
Bron?
She ain't got Bron in there.
No, he's either 4 or 5. I'm trying to see if I put him above this person or not. Yeah, I put LeBron next. He's 4. And I don't know. I'm sorry. This man, I gotta put. And you got Wilt.
Do it. That's what you got.
Who is it, Britt?
I'm trying to figure it out.
She on the hot seat.
I'm gonna say, and there's a lot of guys I'm missing too. I might have to redo this list. I'm gonna say Bill Russell. I don't know why I feel like he gets a little disrespected at times. So I gotta go with Bill Russell at 5. But I miss Tim Duncan. It's so many guys that you miss, but
it's a lot of great
those are my 5 for today.
A lot of great players.
Those are my 5 for today.
So my top 5, this is how I'll do it. I'll go Mike at 1, LeBron at 2, Kobe at 3. I got to go with the cap. I got to put him 4. And that number 5, like I said, man, you can go with
Magic.
You can go with Magic. You can go with Bill Russell. You can go. Hey, you can go with Shaq. I mean, it's a lot. You can go with Wilt. I mean, that 5th spot is difficult for me. But if I got to give y'all a list today, I'm gonna throw Shaq in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Shaq.
Well, let's do this for our listeners. So we got a lot.
Let me give you my 5 real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I would have MJ, Kareem, and LeBron. I don't care how you put them. 2, 3,
It can be a
3,
toss
2.
up. Yeah,
I think I might give Kareem the slight edge, but I go back and forth on that. But those are 2 and 3 for me. I think I'd go Kobe 4, and I would go Magic 5. That would probably be my 5.
That 5 spot is hard.
That 5 spot is tough. But man, sometimes I think people forget how good Magic was, man. And he gets left out a lot of these conversations.
Philly fans don't.
But you know the crazy thing about it is, before K-Walk goes, the crazy thing about it, when you say Magic is all right with that though.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He is. He really
No,
is.
I was just gonna say just throw or for our listeners, just throw the criteria out there. What 5, 3, 4, 5? You guys agree? What criteria should they meet? Should it be 1, 2? I don't know.
As far as rings?
As far as, in the GOAT conversation, as far as what should each player that we mentioned, or any other player for that matter, what criteria or box should they check off before they can be considered in the GOAT conversation?
At least have one. At least have one ring. We'll go with
I would say multiple.
At least one ring.
I would say multiple.
Yeah,
like, I feel like you got to have multiple.
If you go with multiple championships, like Britt said, Tim
Bill
Duncan
Russell
can slide up in there.
Bill Russell.
Steph Curry can slide up in there.
Right. Steve Kerr.
KD can slide.
But all the guys
Irving.
we named also have multiple. MJ,
That's what I'm saying.
Kareem, Bron, Kobe, Magic.
The list goes on. But if you think about the guys that we talk about, Mike got 6, Kobe got 5, Bron got 4, Tim Duncan got 4 or 5. How many Duncan got? 5? 4?
5.
Yeah.
How many Kareem got?
6.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You go, Shaq got how many Shaq? Shaq got 4.
4.
How many Russell got?
That's what I'm saying. Russell got them all.
Yeah.
Russell got them
That's what
all.
I'm saying.
So if we
Right?
using the ring
Player
debate
and
as
the coach.
exactly, if we using the ring debate as the GOAT criteria,
That's why I'm posing the question.
Then Bill Russell's the GOAT.
Well, I'm saying I'm not saying that's the
That's why I
criteria.
put
I'm
him in
saying
my
that's
top 5.
part of
Robert
it. Like I think there's got to be 4 or 5 different things: rings, offensive ability, defense, intangible. Like it can't just be rings. Eye test. I think all those things.
The
have
eye
to go
test.
in.
That's for the the people that know basketball. The eye test, but the casuals don't understand that. But I'll ask you another question. When you go to the individual accolades,
Longevity, take it out. Take it out.
I'm taking the longevity out.
Take it out. Okay.
I'm taking it out. I'm just talking about individual accolades.
Okay.
The guys that we name off their accolades.
The only issue I have with the NBA's individual accolades is it's like people just voting on it, and
it's watered down.
A lot of times, look, MJ could have way more MVPs than he actually does. So,
and he has a defensive MVP.
So I think that can be part of the criteria, but for me, I don't know how much weight it carries because it's all just very subjective.
Jay, that's true because you can't tell me for sure why Steve Nash still got more MVPs than Kobe Bryant. I don't care what nobody says.
I'm glad you brought that up, Britt, because it's almost
another can of worms.
It's almost popularity because I look at it at the time Steve Nash got his MVPs.
Yeah,
Kobe could have got them MVPs.
Or Shaq.
When you look at a stretch of guys that was dominant during their time, Kobe should have more than one MVP.
Yeah,
at least 3. And I'll say the same thing for LeBron.
I'll say
should
the
have
same
more
thing
than
for LeBron
4.
too.
You see what I'm saying?
Fan, but I agree with you.
It's a popularity thing. Just like I'm not throwing no shade at you, Britt, with Joel Embiid. But last year, do you think he deserved the MVP?
Yes.
I think they switched it up because they didn't want to give Joker that MVP again. That's all I'm saying. It's popularity.
Because I think the first year that Jokic won, I don't think he should have won that year. Or was it his second year? It was
because
one of them.
they go with what's hot. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to keep giving it to the same person because if you notice, there's a lot of people, a lot of NBA players and a lot of NBA, people in the community and all the old heads said there was a stretch where LeBron could have won MVP each year, but he didn't get it. They wanted to move on to exactly. As same as MJ. They fizzle out. They go with the next thing hot, just like. Y'all got to understand something. Stephen Curry, the only person in NBA history to have a unanimous MVP season. Come on now, guys. Think about that.
No, we
we're with you. We're with you there.
Right along with you.
All right, y'all. Good stuff.
Hold on before we go. I got to read off KSAP. Your son responded with his top 5.
There we go. There we go.
Ron for him is 1, MJ 2, Kobe 3, Kareem 4. And then he got Steph, KD.
I'm not mad at that.
5.
That number 5 is that's what I'm saying. That 5 is hard.
That 5 is hard.
How old is your son?
I was going to ask the same question, Jay.
15. Okay, so
I'm not mad at that.
I would say
think
there's
that's
probably a lot of
15
15-year-olds that have Bron as their number 1. I can see that,
and that's I'm glad you brought that up, Jason.
I think that's a criteria as well. Generations are different. You got a lot of real young people. They younger than 15, looking past Bron. You know who they say their GOAT is?
KD.
Paul George.
Hey, you took that from Carmelo Anthony's son, Cayenne, talking about his
that one.
Never heard that one.
That one.
You didn't hear that?
No, I didn't hear it.
That.
His mother.
Kids out here that love Paul George.
Yeah, him and his mother was on a podcast, and she asked him, "Who is your GOAT?" He was like, "Paul George."
Yep.
And she said, "You're not even gonna say your dad?" No, Paul George is the GOAT.
I'm not mad at it. I get it.
That's what I'm saying. It's the times that they're growing up in. And
right.
Before we get off, if you notice when LeBron became the all-time scoring champ, right? When he passed to Kareem that night. The next day he was at that football game, right? And when they put him up on the Jumbotron, a lot of people started booing. But you got to understand, they were some old heads up in the game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
from the Michael Jordan era.
Of
Yeah.
course.
They didn't
and I would have been booing too. I would have
exactly.
been booing too.
That it's
If
the
I was
it's
in
the
States, I'd been
time,
booing.
but
And that's
Yeah.
probably how the generation before us felt when everyone
Exactly.
crowned MJ the GOAT. They
Exactly.
were like,
You're right.
wait a minute, you
Yeah.
know?
man, I used to live off this stuff out here. This MJ. Well, I think it's over here. This MJ Come Fly With Me documentary. Back when I was
Oh
playing
my
ball,
God.
Oh,
I used to
man.
go
What?
outside and
I
try
wore
to
my
implement
tape
every
out.
move. Yeah,
Man,
I wore my
what?
VHS tape out. On
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I said
Yep.
VHS tape.
Yep.
I wore it out.
All right, y'all. Good stuff. We're going. Oh, there you go,
Yeah,
Britt.
Britt.
There
I
you
got,
go,
I gotta
Britt.
put it up.
There
Trying to
you
figure out
go.
where to put it up.
Britt,
but I
you see
gotta
that,
put it
right?
up.
You see that? You
I
see that
can't
back there,
see
right?
it.
Yeah.
Oh, is
You
that
see that back there?
Brian? Is that Brian?
Yeah, you see that down there
That's
more
Yeah,
than the game. More than the game.
I see it.
If you see down there, that's that
Yeah,
Allen
I see it.
Iverson. You know what I'm
That
saying?
don't make it right. though,
See,
Britt. That
we
don't-
gotta raise that one up, K-Sap. Come on.
I'm gonna raise it up.
Raise it up.
Next time I'm on the show, I got something different for you. I got
right,
some
bet.
things that you ain't seen.
Appreciate you,
All right,
brother.
bet.
Allen Iverson is my guy.
All right.
He's
Good
my
stuff,
my
y'all.
ringless goat. I don't
Yeah.
care what nobody says. He's my ringless goat.
That's a great
We're
another
gonna-
conversation. That's a great conversation.
We're going to wrap
ahead,
it up here. Before we get out of here, though, real quick, K-Walk, let the people know where they can find you, and then if there's anything you're looking forward to this week.
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on Facebook, Kevin Walker. As K-Sap been calling me all night, Kevin Walker. Craziness, but
Don't
you
do
catch
that
me
to
on
me,
that.
man. Don't
No,
do
no,
that to
you
me.
good, you good, brother. I appreciate it though. And you catch me on Instagram, Kevin.Walker142, and X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And tomorrow night you can catch me and my co-host E. Scott, Sports Talk with K Walk and E. Scott on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio, wherever you get your podcast. Check me out. Check us out, guys. I'm putting up $25. We got a segment where there's a question, no Googling allowed, ladies and gentlemen. I'm putting up $25 to the winner tomorrow night. So Sports Talk with K Walk and E. Scott, Never Had It So Good Sports Radio from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Good stuff,
And
K-Walk.
what I'm looking for, I'm sorry, Jay. What I'm looking for is college basketball conference tournaments. As you can see, I'm a North Carolina Tar Heel fan. They're ranked number 4, so we know they play number on Thursday. So check out that, guys. I'm looking forward to that. Sorry, guys. Go ahead.
No, good stuff, K-Walk. You guys can find me at Jason Talk Sports on all the different social media platforms at Jason Talk Sports. Yeah, K-Walk, man, with the women's tournaments being over, conference championships being over, looking forward to seeing what the men can do this week. And then obviously Selection Sunday will be a lot of fun as we move into the weekend. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Britt, what you got for us?
I'm looking forward to seeing Allen Iverson become the number 1 GOAT. No, I'm just playing.
Lord have mercy.
Wranglers or not. No, I'm just kidding. No, but you guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, X, I don't know, at Brittany Monique. I'm also on TikTok as well. At Brittany Monique is right there at the bottom of the screen. Also, please subscribe, like. I know Jay was going to say this later as well, but please subscribe, like, comment, and share our YouTube channel at The Sideline Speaks. But I'm also looking forward to the continuation of the NFL offseason. To me, I always say this is literally like reality TV. So much drama, so much going on, just keeps you intrigued, keeps you drawing your attention, keeps your attention.
Yeah.
And then March Madness is fastly approaching. I'm excited about that because if you guys know, I'm a basketball girl first and foremost, and then comes football, and then also baseball. Baseball is coming very, very soon, so I'm excited
Baltimore
about
Orioles.
that.
Let's go, Orioles.
Hey, guys, and Britt's been humble, man. Check her out Thursday nights on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio, 7 p.m. with her and Princess Cooper. Please stop being humble with that, Britt. That's an awesome show.
See,
awesome show. Check it out.
I'm gonna tell you the one thing about Brittany. I don't know too much of her. You know what I'm saying? That show that I came on and she put the information out there. If y'all want to be a participant on the show, look for her. But the thing about Brittany, she's giving out her handle. But it probably take about 2 to 3 weeks to respond to you. So just be patient. Just be patient. But you know, she'll get back with you, like I said. But you guys do me a favor, man. If y'all can DM me y'all's information for y'all shows so I can go up and support, man. Because like I said, you know, this show, it's a great show. Y'all got a lot of knowledge, man, and I had fun tonight, man.
Thank you,
like I said, it makes for a good show. You know, everybody was you can't agree with everybody. You know
No,
what I'm saying? That's what
what we
makes it a
love
good
about
show.
it.
That's what
You know?
makes
Hold
it
on,
a good
K-Sap.
show. Yep.
Hold on, K-Sap.
Okay.
We're not going to just skirt past what you just said about me.
Well,
What
I don't
happened?
how I don't respond back to my DMs. You just
What
tried to
happened?
really quickly pass by that, didn't you?
She's
I seen what you
sifting
did
through a
there.
lot of DMs, K-Sap. You gotta be patient
okay.
with her.
But what I'm saying is,
Bear
she
with me. I don't
but,
get the
but listen,
notifications.
well, you need to turn your notifications on. But K
I do.
Walk and Jason, this is what happened.
me out.
She posed the question on your show.
Yep.
Right?
Oh,
So
yeah,
if-
you did. Yeah.
if you pose the question and somebody says, okay, I would love to be on that show, and then the main producer of the show does not respond to you.
Let her know. Let her know, K-Sap.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on.
Brett, you got to let us know too.
Brittany, I mean, you trying
I ain't
to,
got nobody in there.
but
new
Brittany, you
request.
trying to, we trying to elevate Sideline Speaks, right?
Yes, my man.
We trying to elevate, right? And for you to pose a question about if y'all want to come on the show and debate, and then you be like 2 weeks later, like another show goes by, she ain't even respond. So like,
K-Sap, first of all, don't call me out. It wasn't no daggone 2 weeks, and you know that. Don't do that to me. It may have been a week, okay? I had issues with the daggone notifications. I'm gonna figure. I check my stuff. Don't do that.
I'm gonna give you the
Stop calling
benefit
me
of the
out.
doubt because you
Live
did
on
say
the air.
you said your internet did go down, so I'll give you a pass. So we'll
The
give you a
internet
pass.
be
but-
acting funny sometimes.
But hey,
I
guys,
got it.
that's
I
Philly
got it
area,
up right
though.
now. Okay,
That's
I don't
Philly
have
area
no
for
new
you.
requests.
okay.
But K-Sap,
like
man, on a serious note, we appreciate you being on,
Absolutely,
man.
brother.
We enjoyed it. Loved having you on. Hopefully we can get you back again, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
To
anytime.
keep talking about this stuff. But before we get out of here, man, just again, plug your show. Let the people know where to find you.
Well, everybody know K-Sap, the man behind the mic of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I ain't hard to find. Simply
My
Ball
bad.
Dropping Podcast.
You say everybody know.
Everybody know. They know me without the G. Simply Ball Dropping. But hey, it's not about me tonight, man. It's about coming on you guys' platform.
Appreciate
I
you,
do
brother.
appreciate you guys letting me come on to entertain. I love talking sports. Like I said, K-Walk, you taking notes. I don't need no notes. I come straight off the dome. You know what I'm saying? I don't need notes. But at the same
Bars.
time, great show. And like I said, what I'm going to do on my channel as well is I'm going to, salute you guys out, plug you guys in on my show when I drop my content. Make sure y'all go follow Sideline Speaks, man, because y'all got great content. And I tell a lot of people a lot of times that it's a lot of YouTubers that got great content, but they just not being looked at.
Yeah.
And we just need to elevate, and we're going to elevate. So great show, and I appreciate you guys having me on.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. But before we go, do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it with people you know. You can also find us at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and on Spotify. We'll be back here live next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. So for Brittany Jones and Kevin Walker, I'm Jason Collins. We'll see you guys next week.
You're inside Never Had It So Good Sports Radio with Princess Cooper, Tim Moore, David the Duck Riley, Jason Collins, Shoshana Cook, Brittany Jones, Travis McGee, Eric Scott, and Kevin Walker. We make it easy to talk sports.